Hey, peace and love, peace and love. Welcome to the Brother Garfield podcast, where we put on the best debates. Today's a nice debate between me and my brother Yawasap. But before I introduce Corey, the moderator, I wanted to give a shout out to my brother in the audience, Rodney. He has a coat drive, a very important coat drive that's going on in Chicago right now, and I wanted to give him a shout out. His Cash App, which is Count on Rodney. Count on Rodney. So hashtag $ count on Rodney. And check that out, family. And support this coat drive is important. There's a lot of kids in Chicago, children in Chicago who can't afford a simple coat, winter coat. And Rodney's been doing this for a while, and I just want to support him and give a shout out for what he's doing. All right. So let me turn it over right now to Corey. Peace.
Dope. Definitely shout out to that good brother Rodney. Familiar with that brother personally, and he does excellent work in the community. So make sure y'all support him. And Brother Garfield, if we can get maybe that Cash App up, maybe in the middle of the debate, and then maybe towards the end, just to remind people. Also, we're gonna make sure we put up Brother Garfield's Cash App throughout, so we can support the platform and support the debaters as well. I'm Christian Corey, spiritually known as Nadiyab Shakab of the Tabernacle of David by way of God First Gang. So make sure y'all support those platforms on whether on Clubhouse, fan base, etc. But this is one of those debates that I think the community have been waiting on, man. I don't know what took us this long to get Brother Garfield of the Dagger Squad, one of the highest scholars that we're familiar with, that we're able to rub shoulders against. This brother here has a lot of information, and we want to actually see it face the good brother Yawasap of Ram Gadal Gabarium, which is one of the top historians in the Israelite community as we speak. The topic is, Brother Garfield, what is this topic? And can you just at least give us 30 seconds to tell us what it's about and how this came about? And then we'll go into the open presentation.
All right. So the topic is there an Israelite presence in pre-Columbian America? Me and my Yawasap was talking on Clubhouse, and we decided to like connect with each other. We've been connected for probably a year now, and we decided, we brothers, we share information all the time. He asked me for stuff, I give it up. I say, hey, this is how I come to this conclusion and so forth. And we were talking about scholarship and where they're at when it comes to this. And of course, this is a part of his paradigm with his belief. But he said, Garfield, I want to do this debate, but I don't want the Bible involved. So this debate is straight up history, archaeology, facts on the ground.
Crazy.
So I said, I'm jumping on this right away. Catch money right. So I'm jumping. So he said, Garfield, ain't no Bible. He said, no Bible. I jump on it, man. Boom, 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 boom. That don't mean we're not going to mention the Bible at all. It just means that it's not a Bible-based debate.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. So it has to deal with the facts, which I love. I love dealing with history, archaeology, anthropology, genetics, and linguistics. So that's what you're going to see throughout the debate. I'm expecting the brother to come full force, trying to beat up Brother Garfield, which is fine. I'm not losing anything or winning anything today. The people are going to win because they're going to see conversations and argument from both sides.
Excellent point. So the topic is there a Israelite presence in pre-Columbian America? Now, two things important that's about that is that we're right here, right before so-called Columbus Day, right? So it's strategically placed perfectly right there. But who will be on the affirmative today and who will be on the negative? Please let the audience know that.
Affirmative is my bro. He's his affirmative. I'm saying that I have not seen any evidence. That's what I'm saying. Now, maybe today I'll see evidence and I might change my mind.
All
but
praises.
Going forward, although I'm debating to win, I'm going in to basically say, here what? I'm still researching, and you don't know everything. There's no absolutes in this world. So maybe he'll provide something today that will convince me, and I'll say in the debate, you know what? Let's stop. But also, on the other hand, is he able to understand information to the point where he will say, you know what? Garfield got me on this one. I doubt that. I really do. But I'll say this. I'm coming with some heat, and I hope he's coming with some heat too. That's all I got to say.
All praises. So this debate will be, it'll start off with 5 minutes opening presentation from both sides. Then we're going to move into the first round. Right after the opening presentation will be 10 minutes apiece. The entire debate, formal debate, the brother Yawasap and Garfield will be going first. Brother Garfield will follow thereafter. There will be 3 rounds of 10 minutes apiece for both brothers, but each round is followed by a 5-minute rebuttal for both brothers of the prior round, excuse me. So after the 3 rounds, then we'll be moving into a question and answer section where it'll be about a 7-minute period of at least 5 questions from both brothers. I've already communicated on both ends that when it comes down to that last question, if it runs into the 7-minute period where it goes over a couple of seconds or a couple of minutes, I'll allow it just so the last question can come out and the last answer can come out. Brother Garfield and Brother Yawasap, do you guys agree?
Yes, sir.
All right, good deal, Yawasap. And then after that, it'll pretty much be a wrap up of the closeout, and then we'll close out the entire debate. So I'm excited for it. This has been something I've been personally waiting for to see the information. I think it's very important for the so-called Black community to receive it. If both brothers is ready to go, then we'll start with the opening presentation. Yawasap, you will be sharing your screen for the opening presentation, correct?
Yes, I would.
Do you want to give out our handles now before we do the 5-minute introduction?
So yeah, I was gonna kind of have it in there, but yeah, we can do that. So Yawasap, before your 5-minute introduction actually start, what I'll do is we'll get your screen shared, and then once we share your screen, you can go ahead and give your handles, speak about your school, and then once you start to talk about the debate / the information, that's when I'll start your time. So brother Yawasap is on you. If you're in the building right now, we got at least 100+ people in the room right now. Let's get the shares up. Let's go ahead and get the shares up. Send links to your group chats right now. This is an extremely important debate. This is huge, especially if you are following the biblical narrative, on which Brother Garfield brings out a lot of information about, and Brother Yawasap defends on a heavy level. You guys need to be sharing. This room needs to be going up. So share on Fanbase, Clubhouse, YouTube, messages. Let's get the room going. And make sure if you guys see that Cash App going across your screen, guys should be able to see it. Is hashtag Ask Brother Garfield. Make sure y'all send that to Brother Garfield's podcast for the support of these heavyweight debates. He's been on a roll and been putting a high level of pressure on the community when it comes to debates. You can't deny it. The brother hasn't let up, so we have to financially support this brother and the platform so this can continue. Brother Yawasap, are you good to go?
Yes, sir. Waiting on you.
Okay, so I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna go ahead and share your screen, and then you can go ahead and communicate your handles, and then the time will start when you start with the information.
All right, I'm Brother Yawasap from the school of Gadar, being high exalted warriors in the Hebrew. We were established in 1994. We just push the truth. First and foremost, I do want to give all praises to the Most High God, Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. See, Garfield's worried about winning this debate. I'm worried about winning souls and bringing people to the gospel. So we, first and foremost, we're gonna start this video right here. That's what we're gonna do first.
Tribes, we don't speak for every tribal nation, but we found similarities in our linguistics. We have Hebrew words in our language, celebrations of new moon festivals.
My people have many things in common as far as the traditions and sacred things concerning, for example, there was a celebration of new moon. There was a 7th day of rest. We didn't eat swine. There were cities of refuge. We celebrated 7 sacred feasts during the year. And so there were many commonalities that we found seemed very similar. And this is chronicled in by a man in the 1700s named James Adair. You can read about it in a book called Out of the Flame.
He was one of many. And there was a man by the name of Rabbi Manasseh ben Israel, back in about 200-300 years ago, who also believed that there was a connection between the scattering of the tribes and the First Nations people.
So the theory would be that when the 10 lost tribes were scattered, some of them ended up coming to America. Is that the idea?
It's a possibility.
It's a possibility. Like I said, there's so many things in the traditions, the customs, the spirituality that just go beyond coincidence.
For example, my people's traditional name, the Cherokee's traditional name for ourselves is Anikatuaya, which means the principal people of Yah.
And the Cheyenne tribe in the Americas called themselves Tsitsa, which means people of the fringes.
Really?
You know, and their cousin tribes, the Shoshone, whose symbol is a rose, we find Shoshana, which is a rose.
All right, so that's just bringing it out simply, you know, before my introduction stops. I mean, you heard it from the horse's mouth. These are two people, one that's a Taino native, one that lives in the Cherokee land, which is Anikituaya. And you see right there that they are talking to people in Israel about their connections with the scriptures and their oral traditions. I think this is simple to understand. I am not here to prove that every single person in pre-Columbian America is an Israelite. That is not the debate. I am here to prove that there was an Israelite presence in pre-Columbian America. Right. Through migrations, you can see many people coming here. That's simple. But we're not here to talk about those other people. We are here to talk about the Israelite presence in America. And with that, I yield my time. Good luck, Garfield.
All right, with 2 minutes and 15 seconds left, the good brother Yawasap came out the corner swinging. We're gonna reset the time to 5 minutes. Brother Garfield, would you be sharing your screen?
Yes. But before I do, let me just give my handles. For my Instagram, it's Brother Garfield Podcast. For Twitter, it's the same thing. Brother Garfield Podcast. For for TikTok, it's Ask Brother Garfield 55. And of course, Facebook is Garfield Reed. And y'all could just check me out here every time, Brother Garfield Podcast, for that scholarship. All right.
Oh,
boy.
Would you like for me to share it, Brother Garfield, or are you sharing it?
I'm gonna share it, and I'm gonna just tell you when to start the time. All right.
All right.
You know what? Yeah. Share my screen. Let me put it. Hold on. Is it automatic on there though?
Yeah. It's up.
I'm gonna make it wider, and I'm gonna make it the full screen. All right. You could start my time right now.
All right. Good deal.
All right. Now, how does one judge a debate like this? For one, you have the wonderful brother Yawasap right here, and you have, of course, the great Jamaican brother Garfield. Now, how did these Israelites get to the Americas before Columbus? This is how. Did they come by plane? Did they come by ship? Did they come by train? Now, the main problem here is what he's teaching and pushing is what's called the Jewish Indian theory. This is an erroneous idea that some or all of the lost tribes of Israel had traveled to the Americas, and that all or some of the indigenous peoples of the Americas are of Israelite descent or were influenced by still lost Jewish populations. The theory was popular in the late 17th century and had a lasting legacy through its influence on Mormon belief. Those are the sources. Although this debate is supposedly not Bible-based, it is rooted in the Bible tradition that all humans stem from Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and this is partially the root to the claim natives of the Americas are the lost tribes of Israel. My brother, my friend, my opponent, Yawasap, will try his best to present evidence that's already debunked to convince you Native Americans are Israelites. Now, how does one determine if there's an Israelite presence in pre-Columbia? Now, just like how he does show the video, and by the way, brother, that is not evidence. A scholar making the claim way after the fact is not evidence. What we need is archaeology, anthropology, DNA, history, and linguistics. A serious question we all should ask: did humans exist in the Americas before Shem, Ham, and Japheth existed? And the reason why I bring this up, although we're not talking Bible, because we need a timeline. And this chronological timeline for those three is around 2400 BC. So this debate is centered around something that people were arguing, Europeans and Jews and Christians, called monogenesis versus polygenesis. And I asked AI the question, what is monogenesis and polygenesis? Hold on, I'm sorry. Can you pause my time real quick? I'm sorry. All right, I'm good. Monogenesis is basically the theory that all human languages come from a single common ancestor, and all beings in the universe develop from a single cell. Polygenesis actually says there's more than one and branch out. All right. Now, for traveling to the New World, explorers had to account for the humans living in this part of the earth. So if you're a Bible believer and you run into people that you've never seen before, you're going to possibly claim they are the lost tribes of Israel. That's what started all of this. But Israelites in pre-Columbian America is based on the lost tribes of Israel concept that you just heard on this video. It all started with the Assyrian exile. Then you had the Sabbaton River, which rained rocks every day of the week except the Sabbath, so they couldn't cross it. Josephus knew where they were located. Rabbi Akiva in the 1st century had a debate with another rabbi saying, will they ever return? One said no, one said yes. And that's where Eldad the Danite come in the 9th century and said that he's one of those lost people or whatever. So this is what started up, this Jew. He lied about different things and so forth. So the Christians came up with a story with a guy named Prester John, and he now started saying they have an empire in Ethiopia. He was a king there. And then when Columbus is sailing, how long?
Keep going.
How long I have? How much time I got left?
Minute 25.
All right. So Columbus now is looking for this Ethiopian kingdom. As a matter of fact, the Portuguese are, and that's how they end up in West Africa where the slave trade started and so forth. But this is all predicated on the premise of Judeo-Christian paradigm. Now, when you hear about circumcision, separation during menstruation, human sacrifice, Levirate marriage, moon festival, worship,
1 minute left.
You start to think these are Israelite practices because of one thing, Judeo-Christian paradigm. So my opponent will have to show and prove without the Bible, these folks stem from Israel, and these ritual or religious practices was done by Israelites before leaving Israel and carried it on up until the Americas. And lastly, let's stop for a minute and ask this question, family. Is Yawasap able to actually provide that information that I'm asking for? He can't provide that. He can't prove, remember, no Bible allowed in this debate. He will have to show circumcision, moon festival, Passover, and the whole 9 yards existed in Israel before the Assyrian exile, that it was practiced. Also, did these concepts originate in Israel? If not, how does one determine they are from the Israelites? All this information got to come from archaeology, anthropology, and so forth. But I'm prophesying right now, family, that he's going to bring up the lost lunar stones, holy stones, the Nazareth. Okay.
Time. Brother Garfield came back swinging. In the opening presentation, these brothers is on fire. It's time to get started for the first round. The first 10 minutes is on Brother Yawasap of Ram Gadal Gabarium. And then the second 10 minutes will follow up with Brother Garfield. The topic is there an Israelite presence in pre-Columbian America? Make sure y'all hit the Cash App, #, ask Brother Garfield to support the platform. Brother Yawasap, are you ready to go?
Absolutely.
Would you be sharing your screen?
Emphatically. Let's go.
All right, so let's get Yawasap's screen up. Your screen is up.
All right.
One second before you get started. All right, the time is set at 10 minutes. I want to just ask both brothers briefly, is it okay to give a 5-minute left and a 1 minute left?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right, good deal. So I'll be giving y'all a 5-minute left and 1 minute left. Brother Yawasap, the time will start when you start.
All right. Well, Garfield has claimed that there is no Exodus tradition amongst the Native American Indians in the Americas. I'm going to demonstrate typologies and epithets of biblical accounts among the indigenous American traditions, from Exodus to the Tower of Babel to Noah's flood story. Let's go. Right. So one thing known as the Popol Vuh, right? We're going to get some excerpt from the Popol Vuh. So In the Popol Vuh are recorded the migration and wanderings of their ancestors. No Termin El Hoe. It traces their origin eastward across the Atlantic Ocean to the Old World. Other Indians had similar origins of having crossed a great body of water from the northeast to reach their present land. You see the source there. Let's keep going. Now I'm going to quote things in the Popol Vuh, and we're going to continue to give you more and more witnesses, right? In the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. Let's go. It says, many mountains had they climbed. This is a quote from the Popol Vuh. And long passage to make through the sea, which was miraculously divided for their journey from shore to shore. Is this a typology of the Exodus? Let's look at something else. Toulon was a place of misfortune to man. For not only did he suffer from cold and famine, but here was his speech was so confounded that the first 4 men were no longer able to comprehend each other. They determined to leave Toulon and under the leadership of the god Toli or Tohil set out in search for a new abode. Is this the Tower of Babel story? Let's show you more witnesses and epithets and typologies on how Israelites brought these traditions over here orally and then they were written down. Let's continue. Right? So it is found in the histories of the Toltecs that this age in First World, and they called it, lasted 1,716 years, that men were destroyed by tremendous rains and lightning from the sky, and even all the land without expectation of anything. And the highest mountains were covered up and submerged in water, right? Which is, right here, you see that's a Natul word translated to about 15 cubits. And here they added other fables of how men came to multiply from few who escaped from this destruction. That this word nearly signifies a closed chest, and how after men had multiplied, they erected a very high zakuli, which is today a tower of great height, in order to take refuge in it, the second world be destroyed. Presently, their languages were confused, and not being able to understand each other, they went different parts of the world of the earth. Anybody that reads the Bible knows exactly what this is quoting. Let's continue. Now, you see the source. Duran's leaning toward biblical interpretations is seen in his claim that Quetzalcoatl opened a path. Quetzalcoatl is not a name, rather a title. Opened a path in the sea with his rod, the waters returning to there and drowning the pursuers after the followers of the divine personage had fled to safety. You're going to continue to see this over and over again. Let's continue. Some historians of America tell of the ancient Indians of Cuba that when the Spaniards asked them their origin, they responded that they had learned from their elders that God created the sky, the earth, and all things. That an old man, having sensed a great flood, which God wanted to punish the sins of men, had a large canoe and embarked in it with his family and many animals. After the flood subsided, he sent a crow, which finding dead meat to find on, never returned to the canoe, which he then sent to the dove, and it returned carrying in its beak a branch of a joba, a fruitful tree of Amena. What does this sound like? These are stories found in the Bible. Let's continue. Right? So you see, then these were the 3 nations of the Kichi Mayas, and they came from where the sun rises, descendants of Israel, of the same language and same customs. When they arrived at the sea, Balaam Kinset, which if you look up Balaam, you'll see that it means Lord, right? These are titles. Touched his staff and at once opened the path when it closed up again, and thus a great God wished it to be done because they were the sons of Abraham and Jacob. So it was those 3 nations passed through, and there came 13 others called Volcamai, which had written by the tradition of their ancestors told that they came from the other part of the sea, who came from Sivan Toulon bordering Babylon. Now look at the right. You see, this is what is known as the Father Crespi collection, which is a bunch of things found in the Amazon jungle and in Ecuador of things that have to date back to ancient
5 minutes left.
Then it says, then we arrived at the seacoast. There is no means of passing. This is a story written by the natives known today as the Annals of the Caquicos. They wrote this down. This is their traditions. Then they arrived at the seacoast. There is no means of passing. nor is it told of anyone who has passed the sea. And the warriors of the 7 villages who will find no means to pass the sea. Let's jump down. Let's get to the point. Next paragraph. Now there was a red tree, our staff, which had taken in passing from the gate of Talan, and therefore we are called Kakikel people, our sons of Gibats and Zatiku. The root of this staff, our staff, was pushed into the sand of the sea, and soon the sea was separated from the sand, and for the red tree served which we brought from Talan. Soon the sand was as a line, and we passed out. What is this? This is the Exodus tradition here by the natives. Let's continue, right? In the great battle of the Quiche were miraculously assisted by swarms and wasps and hornets, which flew at their faces and stinging, blinding them so that they could not yield weapons nor to see make effective resistance. After this battle surrounding the races became tributaries to them. Now you see what this is quoting. And look right here, something found in North Dakota kind of looks like something found in Jerusalem. Let's continue, right? You see the book on the right-hand side. It says, they claimed that Yehovah was the name of the great king. He was a man, yet a spirit and a great glorious being. His name was never to be mentioned in common talk. The great king commanded them to rest on the 7th day, right? Let's jump down. Yehovah created the world in 7 days. Let's jump down. And made woman of one of his ribs. What are we talking about here?
Right.
What are we talking about here? Let's continue, right? It says, they told me that after he had suffered many afflictions and persecutions from his countrymen, he had gathered the multitude of his followers and persuaded them to flee from the persecution to that land, that they could live in peace. They had made a leader of those people. He went to the seashore and moved the waters with the rod that he carried in his hand. The sea opened up and he and his followers went through. Let me jump down to the highlighted part. What a clearer proof do we need that these people were Jews than their own reference to the flight from Egypt, wherein Moses moved the waters with his rod. Let's continue, man. It's just going to keep going and going. Look at this right here. When they arrived at the edge of the sea, Balaam Kinse touched it with his staff, and at once a path opened, which closed up again, for thus the great God wished to be done, because they were the sons of Abraham and Jacob. Now look at the garments of the Mexicans and look at the garments of the Israelites on the black obelisk. That's cool. Let's continue, right? It says right here in the star in the west, right? After they count time after the manner of the Hebrews. Let's jump down. By lunar months, like Israelites who counted by the moons, as their names sufficiently testify. Let's jump down. Observe the weekly Sabbath. Let's jump down. They begin the year at the first appearance of the first moon at the vernal equinox. They also, let's jump down, record their days evening to evening, beginning at sunset. These are Israelite traditions. Israelite traditions. Look at this. Look at this. Our Arawak Taino ancestors were always ready to be taken home to Yahya, which is one of the names our people have for their creator. And in their old stories, he had a son called Yael.
1 minute left.
Fish. It is an interesting note that Yael in Hebrew means son of Yah. Let me jump down. Yahya is the great spirit, the one who was first, the giver of life, the most high of all the semis. Right? Look at this. This is from a Chickasaw elder. Creator had come to a man named Noah and told him to build a large canoe because the water soon covered all his land. Now it was destroyed by water. Look what it says in the bottom. And the next world shall be destroyed by fire. Nuclear thermal destruction, by the way. Let's continue. This is the Choctaw tradition. It was passed down to all humanity, was one of the Med living on Turtle Island. We all spoke the same language. Let me jump down. Beginning a large sky tower that would reach past the stars into the heavenly realm. The creator saw what the people were doing and became very upset. So he promptly destroyed the sky tower that the people were building. The creator grabbed
Time. Good brother Yawasap and Garfield finalizing his first round we'll be moving into Brother Garfield's 10-minute round. If you guys can, make sure y'all hit the cash app, tag Ask Brother Garfield for the Brother Garfield podcast to support Brother Garfield's ministry, as well as Brother Yawasap's. The debaters need to be supported for this high level of edification that comes out, as well as the platform continuing to grow. Make sure you guys are doing your job as in sharing this space, so we can have more spaces like it and more people can come in and be edified. Brother Garfield, I got your 10 minutes set. Are you sharing the screen?
Yeah.
All right, good deal. We're going into Brother Garfield's first round. 10 minutes is set on the clock. The time will start when you start, brother.
You could start. You know, I thought this would have been a good debate, but I see something that's going on here, right? We got to teach people how to research in the community. Here, you don't do this. Here's the conclusion. What facts can we find to support it? This is how you research. Here are the facts. What conclusions can we draw from them? Now, I will respond to the stuff in the rebuttal part. I'll get to all of that. But I'm going to say this. Chief Riverwind is somebody who is recent, and the information he read, the translation, is after Columbus. Again, we're looking for pre-Columbus evidence, not somebody writing something after. That doesn't make it true. And remember, Christians and Jews and all these people are translating these storylines, and they are translating into the language of the people. So that's how they familiarize with Christianity. But let's get to it. To determine an Israelite presence, we have to identify records before Columbus came to the Americas. Any records of cultural practices, any writings in Hebrew, my brother, oral tradition, holidays, calendar system, days of the week. How many days do you have in a week? Does a Judean Indian language exist? And this is the key to all of this, because everywhere else in the world where Jews went, they kept their language. When they spent 2,500 years in Persia, they kept their language. When they spent 2,500 years in Babylon, they kept their language. Do we have a genetic connection? Do we find traces of Jewish holidays being practiced before Columbus? We have the sun, moon, winter solstice, spring, summer, fall, winter in every damn culture, bro. So some celebration dates might correlate because these are things that are universal. So what are you really saying now? I don't get that. Hold on 1 second. Okay, here we go. All right. What would be an Israelite presence in the Americas? Folkways, mores, norms, traditions, customs, writings, material culture. That's what you need to provide. Are these Israelites that's in the Americas before Columbus practicing any of the following feast day or rituals? Let me put it on the screen. Passover, just to give you a little dagger. There's no evidence in Israel that Passover was practiced before even the Babylonian exile. So there's no way the people that left in Assyria knew about Passover or the Exodus, because that wasn't a tradition being celebrated. And of course, we're not dealing with Bible, we're dealing with archaeology. So that kills your whole Exodus argument, because there's nobody in Israel doing it. There's nobody doing unleavened bread, first fruits, Pentecost, Feast of Trumpets, Day of Atonement, Feast of Tabernacles, 7-day week, Sabbath, ritual purity, dietary laws, none of this exists in Israel before the Babylonian exile. They can't find one piece of evidence. So how did they travel after the Assyrian exile with this information if they weren't doing it themselves? You can't debate Garfield in this, bro. You took the Bible out. Once you took the Bible out, you lost the debate. Because now you got to prove that the Israelites were practicing this at the time. And you can't do it. So how you going to claim they brought it when there is no proof that they were doing it? Dead. So you talking about, oh, they have something about the Exodus. Of course, if they're rewriting the story after Columbus got here, of course the Europeans are going to attach the biblical tradition to indigenous people and violate them and write these fake stories in their tradition. That's not evidence, bro. Where is the evidence pre-Columbus? How does one identify an Israelite without the biblical text? But what's important is, do we see signs of the Torah, Judaism, or a form of rabbinical Judaism within the indigenous Indian culture? And you know what, family? That guy he just showed, Chief Riverwind, practiced a form of rabbinical Judaism. So that kills your whole argument using him. As a matter of fact, he's a Sephardic Jew. He's what you would call a fake Jew. And you're using him as a witness for your debate. That's nuts. But anyway, we have universal identifiers, family: circumcision, separation through menstruation, human sacrifice. We have worship of multiple gods. We have Levirate marriage. Now, Levirate marriage, of course, we have it right here in this source in the Middle Assyrian laws, and we have it in Hittite laws. So because they did it before the Israelites, that means the Israelites are now Hittites?
5 minutes left.
Israelites are now Assyrians because somebody was doing it before them? So if you follow a certain tradition, that means you're now an Israelite? When did the Israelite have a monopoly on these type of things? This is crazy. You have not produced one evidence yet. And that oral tradition that you talked about is not even talking about outside of America. It's talking about them starting to live in here in the Americas. Human sacrifices. When we look at the Aztec culture, look at these images. These are pre-Columbus, my brother. These are pre-Columbus images that we have of them sacrificing human beings all over this country. This is pre-Columbus Mayan. You just talked about them. The Das Pillar site. This is what they did. I'm showing you what the cultures actually did, what you're talking about. Look at these skulls. Decapitating. This is what they did. They sacrificed humans. That's what they did. That's not an Israelite culture. So what are you talking about? Let's move on. The worship of multiple gods. And if you have kids in the room, take them out right now. Multiple gods. This is what they did. This is what these cultures did. They worship multiple gods. Homosexual deity. You never find, don't y'all accuse Egypt of having homosexual deities? So Israelites had homosexual deities? That's what you're saying? The Europeans coming in and trying to correct Indians, your Israelite brothers, from homosexuality. I'm sorry, guys. I got to show these images. These are the Mayans, the Aztecs, the people in Ecuador, Brazil, all over performing these nasty activities and recording them in pre-Columbus time from 200 AD. You're going to tell me these are Israelites? You're trying to associate African Americans with these nasty cultures? The Mayan culture tells us that Bartolo de la Casa told us they used to give their kids, young boys, before they broke their virginity, they could have sex with boys. Is this Israelite culture? This is pre-Columbus. That's what I'm looking for. Show me pre-Columbus evidence. Don't read out of a book with somebody with an agenda and say this fits my debate or my angle. No, my brother, you gather all the information. So I need clarity. Who are the Israelites in these cultures? It seems all the Native American cultures that's normally claimed are the ones practicing these behaviors. When you talk about blood stuff now, about menstruation and the Cherokees use the woman's period blood as power against other humans. That's why they put them in a hut to sit by themselves. That's what you need to know about the culture. Of course, they separated the woman because they said the creation is based off of menstruation through the moon deity. That's what they talk about. See, it represents the origin of menstruation, woman. So what are you talking about? They said with period blood, you had psychic abilities. According to the Cherokee, menstrual blood was a source of feminine strength. Ancient Rome, Pliny the Elder wrote that menstruating woman who uncovers her body can scare away hailstorms. People have been talking about period blood for the ages. These are the sources, by the way. It's crazy. The oldest bone, the Limumba bone, the black woman 45,000 years ago was documenting her period. Menstruation. We've been doing this. Circumcision. We find it in Africa way before Israelites even existed. It's a worldwide mutilation. Native Americans practice it, but not, you can't say circumcision is from them. But the bottom line is we have a documentation saying that this is 6,000 years ago, by the way, circumcision in Africa. Look at the images on the rock art. They're cutting off this guy's third leg. We've been have circumcision in Africa. Where did Israelites get circumcision from? According to Herodotus in the 5th century BC, they got it from the Egyptians and the Ethiopians. Isn't that, but that goes against what your Bible would teach. So you telling me something, I'm showing you something in history, telling me
1 minute left
circumcision from. So you got to show all these things you claim that Native Americans did. You got to show me where they got it from. Israel does not have a monopoly on any idea. That's if you're using the Bible, but we're not using the Bible today. So you got to show me all this stuff you claim, all these 574 federal recognized tribes in America. You got to show me which ones are Israelites and which ones we need to follow. All of this stuff is crazy. All right. Let me, how much time I got left, brother?
25 seconds.
James Adair. James Adair believe in the Bering Strait. James Adair believe in Yahweh. They spell it with letters. Don't the Lakwan Kodash you guys only have one alphabet? So how is that an argument for you? The 7 feasts, they don't celebrate 7 feasts that's coexisting. And I'm going to show that later on. As far as the New Moon Festival and the Green Corn Festival, of course you're going to have days. Manasseh Ben Israel says that the indigenous people are not Israelites. They were some white.
Time. Brother Garfield came back cooking in the first round. Both of the brothers' 10 minutes have been placed on the table. Make sure you guys support the Cash App. Hit the cash tag. Ask Brother Garfield to support the Brother Garfield podcast. Tonight's debate is there an Israelite presence in pre-Columbian America? The first round has came to a completion, but we're moving into the rebuttal round for both brothers. Brother Yawasap will be going first, and then Brother Garfield. It will be 5 minutes apiece for the first round. So we're all waiting to hear this on both sides. A lot of information been put out on the table, but we need to hear this thing get torn down. Brother Yawasap, will you be sharing your screen?
Yeah, absolutely. But first I'm gonna talk, and then I'll tell you when to share my. Go ahead, Garfield. Go ahead. I go on mute.
This is the 5-minute rebuttal, right?
5-minute rebuttal from both sides of the first round. Yes, sir.
Cool, no problem.
So, all right, good deal. Make sure if you're in the audience, we hitting 250 in a room. Let's double it up. Let's actually share as much as possible. Sit in the group chats. Make sure you post it on social media. This is a heavy debate with heavy information. We need to study this on both sides. Brother Yawasap, you said you will be speaking first, and then I'll be on point to share your screen when you need it. But let me get the time set. Give me about 5 seconds. All right, I got the time set. The time will start once you start your rebuttal, brother.
All right, Garfield, you don't know anything about Israelites. I'm gonna say that first and foremost, right? You forced me to go into the Bible. All right, you forced me. This is Hosea 4:17. Ephraim is joined to idols. So what you're doing?
Hold on. Time out. We're not supposed to use Bible in the debate. What is he doing? Time out. I gotta take a time out.
That's a rule.
We're not supposed to use Bible in the debate.
We never agreed to that rule, brother.
Yes, we did.
Let's stop it for 5 seconds. Hold on, and then I'm gonna bounce it to both of you brothers. Let me just address the audience right quick. This wasn't something that me and Brother Garfield and Brother Yawasap discussed in reference to no Bible. This was something that Brother Garfield communicated at the beginning of the debate that both of these brothers expressed to themselves. So this isn't something I can moderate. I'm gonna try to let these brothers work it out. If not, then I'm gonna have to untangle you brothers. But I'll reset the time to 5 minutes and give you guys space right now to work it out.
This is what I do. I'll let you get that, right? Even though you're lying. But what I will say is, it's all right. Let me just get my 5 minutes.
Don't say I'm lying. Don't say that. Don't say I'm lying. Don't say that.
All right, Garfield. No, can I get my 5 minutes?
Sure, but don't say I'm lying. I'm not.
Yeah, that was a lie, though. I'm just being honest.
I'm not lying. Why would I make slides with that and everything? That don't make no sense. We agreed to that, bro.
All right, no problem. We agreed that this is a historical based debate. We never came to a conclusion that the Bible will never be used. It's a lie, brother. Anyway, what you going into idol worship, and I mean the 2 verses I was gonna show was Israelites do idol worship.
I'm starting the time.
Israelites have been known to do human sacrifices. So even if that was true, though I'm gonna deal with that in my next round. Even if that was true, it doesn't take away from the accounts of the Bible, right? And then at the same time, you're going into a conclusion saying that all those traditions the natives did is just fake. It's false. But they're saying it themselves that they did these things.
Right.
They're saying it themselves.
Right.
I don't understand. Now, you said something about the Bering Strait. Why not? You can share my screen. Share my screen. Let's talk about the Bering Strait real quick, because I hope you don't go into it. All right. Is my machine? All right. Boom. Right. So, 1 second. It's right here. So the Bering Strait. Look at this. You like posting things all the time, even though you didn't show no primaries. You just showed a whole bunch of articles. No prime. What I showed was what the natives wrote down themselves.
Right.
They wrote it down themselves. Right. Look at the Shawnees. The Shawnees lived in Western Ohio and mingled with the Miamis and Delawares. Let's jump down. Look what they did. They offered sacrifices for their safe deliverance. Look, having crossed the Great Sea. This is what they're saying. Now look at what the natives wrote down themselves. A major Kimchian sources are consistent in relating that the mythological founding fathers of Kichaying nations originated somewhere across the sea. So forget about what James Adair thought was right. Well, what are the natives saying? The natives are saying they came here from across the sea. It's that simple.
Right.
I don't understand.
Right.
I really don't understand. So a lot of this stuff you're saying is just is mumbo jumbo, man. Honestly, a lot of the stuff you're asking for is going to come in the next rounds. Even though I already showed the annals of the Caciques is not people coming and translating it. It's natives learning Latin by the priests and translating their traditions into Latin and giving it to the priests. You don't know that though, because you haven't studied where they got the Popol Vuh from, where they got the annals of the Caciques from, where they got the titles of the Topicans from. So you're just talking, bro. You're just talking, right? Get your 5-minute rebuttal, brother.
All right, come. We're gonna stop sharing the screen, stop the time, reset for Brother Garfield's rebuttal. It's reset for 5 minutes. Make sure y'all hit the Cash App, hashtag Ask Brother Garfield. We got Brother Yawasap of Rum Gadal Gabarium going against Brother Garfield of the Dagger Squad tonight. The topic is there an Israelite presence in pre-Columbian America? Make sure y'all support the platform financially. We've closed out the first round. Yawasap surrendered the rest of his time of his 5-minute rebuttal. Now we will be bouncing over to Brother Garfield's 5-minute rebuttal. The time is set, Brother Garfield. Are you ready? Would you be sharing your screen? You got it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, good deal. So the time will start when you start, brother.
All right. When it comes to Cherokee and the Hebrews compared, and we look at the feast days, right? These are the Jewish feast days. These are the Cherokee festivals, right? Hold on a second. I'm sorry. Hold on 1 second. All right. All right. So now we have the Cherokee festivals, the green corn. Now, remember the lady in the video that he showed? Look at these festivals. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? The pigeon dance is a winter spruce dance. That doesn't align with anything in Hebrew. The first new moon of spring, everybody in the world does that. The green corn ceremony is in June. The mature green corn ceremony is 45 days later. They have a lot of stuff. The Great New Moon Festival is way down in October. This is in November. The festivals don't even align. So the lady that was talking was lying. Now, the Europeans brought pork to this part of the world. So them not eating pork, it was already not a part of their diet. That don't make no sense. 7-day rest, you got to show and prove that these people were resting on the 7th day. That is not even in Cherokee history. And another thing, the Cherokees have a 13-day week. They don't have a 7-day week. It's a 13-day week. James Adair, we're going to get into James Adair shortly. Manasseh ben Israel, I want to make it clear to everybody out there. The 10 tribes in Assyria and the whole thing about the exile, for those who don't know, the 10 tribes of Israel, there's no lost tribes. They never went anywhere. This is just something that people in the West believe. There's no such thing as a lost tribes. This is why, I mean, I can't use the Bible. I'm just about to use the Bible. But if you look at Benjamin Tadella, I'm going to show that later. He's going to talk about the people living in Assyria and in Persia, over 100,000 people who are saying they descend from when they were deported from Israel. So we know where the so-called lost tribes are, and they kept their language. They kept their culture. That's not, those people can't be the people that came over here into the Americas. It can't be. And this was 600 years ago. Chief River One is actually a Sephardic Jew who is connected to Sephardic Jews. He has Indian connection with him because of a mixture of the marriage. Let me see what else he said that needs to be responsive. Manasseh ben Israel thought, and they quoted Manasseh ben Israel and James Adair. That's why I'm bringing it up. The video that you played is the dagger. They said that James Adair documented the stuff. I'm saying that James Adair admits in his own writing that he never knew Hebrew. How can he make a linguistic connection when he can't even speak Hebrew, understand the syntax, the typology, or anything about the language? He made some crazy claims that has been debunked. All 23 claims have been debunked. I'm going to debunk it tonight right here in probably my late second or third round. And then when you talk about one more thing, Manasseh ben Israel, he's saying in his writings that the indigenous people were converted by white people. He said that in his primary source. So if you're going to use Manasseh ben Israel, you can't use him to win the debate because he's saying that they were converts and they learned from the Jews that were here, the light-skinned Jews. All right, let me get out of here. I don't even need it, but I just wanted to make a point just to show you that the people on that video were lying. These feast days do not align with anything that they have. And even if you look at the Cherokee language and ancient Hebrew, look, I'm gonna show all of this in a few minutes, just to break it down. And just to show you right now, they are divided into 12 tribes, right? They're divided into 7 clans, the Cherokee. So that all that they were saying on that video that you played, bro, is a lie. The Cherokee are broken down into 7 clans. And I have the name of the clans right here. This slide is coming up. You're gonna see it. It's not true. This is why when you talk about pre-Columbian evidence, you got to show something before Columbus came to America. You have not shown that, bro. Make me a believer, please. Unless you didn't understand the debate, you got to show people. And then when I said that you can't show an Exodus tradition in Israel prior to Babylonian exile, I'm talking about archaeology, anthropology, and history. There is absolutely no records of a Passover celebration before 400 BC. So you got to show me. So the people who live in the exile, they don't have no book. They don't have no Torah, no Tanakh. They don't have no prophecy. They don't have no ritual laws. They don't have Leviticus. So why would they bring it with them if they didn't have it in the first place? That kills your entire argument.
Time, Brother Garfield, cooking up, closing out the 5-minute rebuttal round of the first round. We'll be moving into the second round, but first and foremost, make sure y'all are hitting the Cash App, supporting these brothers that's bringing out a high level of edification for all of us to learn from. Make sure you hit the Cash App. It's hashtag Ask Brother Garfield. Tonight's debate is there an Israelite presence in pre-Columbian America. We'll be moving over to the second round, which will be 10 minutes apiece. Brother Yawasap will go first, and then it will be followed by Brother Garfield. Brother Yawasap, will you be sharing your screen?
Yes.
All right. Right away, you want me to go ahead and get it up there?
Yes.
All right, good deal. So the screen is up there. The time is set for 10 minutes, and the time will start when you start.
All right, let's go into some compelling archaeological finds, right? You see the first one you see here. You see the tree of life being symbolized in Hazar, Israel, also being found in Izba, Mexico. But let's keep going, right? Let's go. It says, as an indigenous person, right? Not Garfield, who's going to sit here and say, oh, you're quoting this. As an indigenous person, I find tremendous beauty in archaeological discoveries, providing evidence that validates our oral history. Archaeologists have unearthed Hebrew writings on cave walls, stones, and more throughout the Americas, some dating as far back as 2,000 years. Now look at this. This is known as the Newark Holy Stones, the Decalogue Stone. In June and November of 1860, respecting Lincoln County and Newark, Ohio survey, David Warwick unearthed 2 stones bearing Hebrew inscriptions. The first was a triangular-shaped keystone, and the second was called the Decalogue Stone, encased in sandstone sarcophagus and accompanied by a small stone bowl nearly the size and shape of a Hebrew temple ritual bowls. Now remember, this was found in Ohio. Let's continue. Look at this book. The sons of Jacob were walking on the soil of Ohio many centuries before the birth of Columbus. Now look at this certain garment that the natives wore in Ohio. You see fringes with a border of blue. This is what they wore there. Guess where that's found? You also see right here in Michigan, for some reason, there's a menorah within carvings in caves in Michigan. Let's continue, right? Now, Ohio Hopewell mounds with no steps, only ramps. You see that in the book of Exodus. This is found in certain writings in the National Archives. Why are the mounds have no ramps? This is Israelite traditions. Let's continue. This right here on the left is a Hebrew altar in the Negev Desert temple of Arad. And this is a Hopewell altar in Ohio, USA. They look very similar. So what do you see? You see these Hebrew artifacts found right here in Ohio. You see mounds, thousands of mounds, by the way, going up and down the Mississippi River with ramps, not steps. That is also in law within the Torah. And you see an altar that is found in the Negev Desert in the temple of Arad, also found in Ohio. Let's continue, right? Now, look, this is known as the Bat Creek Stone, right? We're going to get into the history of it in a second. On the left side, you see the original picture of the Bat Creek Stone found within a Tennessee mound. On the right side, this is the latest photograph. Now, what would you notice is those 2 scratches. You see those 2 scratches that are not in the original picture in the 1800s? I'm saying this for a reason. Let's continue. Now, I'm going on the left. The new scratch contains residue indicating it's something made recently or modern. Look, this is under a 3D microscope comparison. Original scratch, i.e. carvings, not having residue, shows that the carving is not a modern forgery, but authentically older than modern times. So the original scratches, they have no residue. The 2 new scratches have residue. That's very important to understand. Let's continue. Let's read a little bit up on it. The Bat Creek Stone, right? The Bat Creek Stone was discovered during a professional archaeological dig by John W. Emmer of the Smithsonian Institution's Bureau of Anthropology in 1889. During its mound survey project, the inscribed stone was found in an undistributed Hopewell burial mound along the Little Tennessee River near the mouth of Bat Creek. Additional Hopewell diagnostic artifacts recovered with the stone include bone and wood pieces and 2 brass breastplates whose metallurgical properties nearly match those of ancient Jews in the Levant, proportions of the Mediterranean. The inscription on the stone was assumed to be Paleo-Cherokee and was subsequently published by the Smithsonian in the annual report of Bureau of Anthropology in 1890 to 1891 on page 392. In 1964, Chicago patent attorney Heretta Mertz and Hebrew linguistics expert Dr. Cyrus Gordon identified the writing as a form of ancient Paleo-Judean. They discovered that the stone had been published by the Smithsonian upside down and that it was legible Hebrew once the stone was rotated 180 degrees. Now, look when Paleo Hebrew, you can see a lot dating from the 1st to 2nd century. Now, I'm saying this for a reason. Let's continue. Now, Bar Kokhba coins were first issued by Simon Bar Kokhba, who was ahead of the
5 minutes left.
State that revolted against the Roman Empire. Now, what do you see on the left-hand side? To the left, you see a Roman coin from Kentucky. Same thing that is found in Bar Kokhba. Now, to the right, you also see more Roman coins found in Kentucky. Is this a coincidence? I think not. Let's continue. Now you see the sources right up top. Ancient mounds and earthworks of Feast of Lights menorah with an oil lantern showing more evidence of early 1st or 2nd century migrations from Judea. You see the oil lamp on the top, and you see the menorah on the bottom. These are the ancient mounds and earthworks that were found right here. Let's continue. This is a modern satellite evidence of the earthwork which was destroyed during the 19th century shortly after its discovery. So you see proof of it right here, not something that was just completely made up. It's right here in a satellite image. Now let's go into this source, right? Now I'm going to start at where it says, a Cherokee chief of the present Beverly Northrup not only links Bar Kokhba and the Cherokee, but speaks of its earlier Jews who refused to bow down to Caesar, saying that they would bow down to not one but God, the King of the universe. So it says the group of Jews was known as the Sakari. Now, why would this make sense? Because you find over here an oil lamp with the menorah. You find over here Roman coins and a Bar Kokhba coin. You also find over here within Ohio, you see mounds that don't have steps, they have ramps. You see natives wearing garments with borders of blue and fringes that all point back to what? This is pointing back to an Israelite presence, a presence in pre-Columbian America.
Right.
Let's continue, right? Now, this is from them. In the beginning, Yahweh created the sky world and our mother earth. The waters around the earth were dark and deep, but the spirit of Yahweh moved upon the face of the waters. And Yahweh said, let there be light, and the sky world and our mother, the earth, light lit up. And Yahweh called the day because we could see the work to plant our crops. And he called the darkness night because we could rest in the cool. I'm going to jump down. Yahweh has commanded us to rest on the 7th day and to respect the number 7. But you don't believe nothing that they say at all. That's cool. Now we're going to go into this book right here. Now, Sahagun further complains that they were forcefully deprived. And by the way, a lot of the things that Garfield showed was not pre-Columbian in terms of a lot of the paintings and drawings. Those things come from the Florentine Codex, the Modex Codex, so on and so forth, which was painted by Spaniards.
Right.
So that was a lie. Now, Sahagun further complains that's Google research. Sahagun further complains that he was forcefully deprived of a very valuable painting representing the Great Temple with the court by which it was surrounded, which he says was sent to Spain. It was very evident that everything in Mexico calculated to draw attention to the ancient history of the country, more especially if connected with religious recollections, was carefully removed from notice immediately after the conquest. Pieces of sculpture were mutilated.
1 minute left.
Paintings were burned, temples and edifices from their size. Now, I'm saying this for a reason, right? Sahagun, when engaged in this compilation of history after it had taken from him again and restored, received 3 cautions. First, to write nothing to prove that the Hebrews have colonized the New World. That's the information that Garfield is reading. Right. Secondly, to be guarded in what he said of devils having imitated God and taking to himself a chosen people in the New World and counterfeiting the rites and ceremonies of the Jews. Because when they came here, they seen these people doing things that were written within the scriptures. Right. Now let's go to this one. Now, Lopez de Gomorrah. This is somebody that you continue to use, Garfield, and you don't even know it. The author despised the Indians and filled his volume with outrageous characterizations of them. And guess what? He never even came here.
Time. Good brother Yawasap of Ram Gadal Gabarium is wrapping up his 2nd round for 10 minutes. If we can reset let's see, let me see if I can remove that. Removed it from the stage. Is that your slide that's up, Brother Garfield?
Yes, my brother.
All right, good deal. If y'all can, make sure y'all hitting the Cash App. The topic today is there an Israelite presence in pre-Columbian America. We got the brother Garfield finna go into his second round for 10 minutes. The time is set, brother Garfield, and it will start when you start.
All right. This is so sad. This is so sad at this point. But let's get to this. All right. I'm going to address everything that he said. The New York, I can't believe he brought the New York Holy Stone and the Bat Creek Stone. I can't believe he brought that to the debate. That just tells me the level of your scholarship. Now, the problem now is this. It has to be a conspiracy. People are hiding. They don't want people to know they're Israelites. Again, remember I asked, can you provide evidence in Israel before the Assyrian exile that anyone was practicing any of these rituals, 10 Commandments, Passover? He can't do it because it was not written down yet. It wasn't developed. There was no Israelite religion until after the exile. There's no evidence of Passover, family. So why would the persons who are being exiled out of Israel, why would they have an Exodus tradition to carry to America? It makes absolutely no sense. That kills your entire presentation. But let's look at archaeology in the Americas. This is physical evidence of the Americas before the Assyrian exile, right? You have Caral Super civilization. These are the people in the Peru area. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, they built this before even Kemet. They're building pyramid structures. Are these Israelites? No, this is 5,000 years ago. What are you talking about? You're now disrespecting and violating these people who's been there for centuries. Look at them. They have mummies before Kemet, 9,000 years ago. What are you talking about? I don't know. What is the obsession of trying to make everybody an Israelite? I don't get it. It is so pseudo. This is why I read the Jewish Indian theory at the beginning. It is pseudoscience. And that's what you've been teaching the whole time. I can't believe you brought the Bat Creek Stone. I can't believe that. This is all archaeology of the people. Look at this. 1200 BC in Belize, Central America, you have the Mayan culture building structures. Look at the structure. And you're talking about these people are Israelites? 1200 BC, there was no Israel yet. Now let's go to genetics because he don't deal with genetics, but I got to do this for a point. Now, they have a body that they found 13,000 years ago. That body, ladies and gentlemen, accounts, look at this. The Clovis child, now known to be a boy, is directly ancestral. Look it up. Directly ancestral to today's native people from Central and South America and North America. That means that child genetically, how are they Israelites if they're connected to a boy from 13,000 years ago? Makes no sense. This is why Israelites don't like DNA. Look at this right here. 96% of Native Americans are connected to the haplogroup C, Q, and R. And the reason why they're connected to R is because of when the Europeans came in and slept with the Indian folks. So they're primarily C and Q. 96%. So you're saying the Israelites is the 4%? They're connected to that little boy 13,000 years ago. Bro, stop the lies, bro. The Native Americans have their own culture. It is Europeans who are imposing this biblical text on them from the jump. These people ain't got nothing to do with your Bible until y'all came to convert them. This is nuts. The African slave. I want y'all to look at this. Y'all might not love DNA. Look at the map on the side. This is North America and South America on the right. Look over in the left side where Israel is. Do you see any of these colors where Israel is? Not even a drop. They're in Asia. Look at the purple color. This is the genetic marker of QM242. What 96% of the people have. Not QM, I'm sorry. C and Q they have. But the Q marker is that's what it is. They can't be Israelites, bro. They can't be. It's impossible. They can't be. No matter what you find. They find people 14,000 years ago. They found somebody 11,500 years ago. They found skeletons. They found pottery in the Caribbean. All these people are connected. The origin of Amerindians, people of the Americas. Look at this. They got look how much chromosomes they have. 14,000. 14,000 family. This is how many chromosomes they tested. Look right here, South American blacks, North American blacks. So we're all in this testing. And guess what? We're not connected. We're not related. We're not those people. I don't know why Israelites run from DNA, because this is what it is. But guess what? We did find a connection with Jews and Native Americans, because I'm a real researcher. I don't hide stuff. Let's take a look at the connection, though. The connection is we found that you have some Jews who are connected to natives, but guess what? Researchers conducted an additional, hold on a second, it's right here. Researchers at Israel Sheba Medical Center, they found a genetic mutation that predisposes carriers to breast and ovarian cancer, and it's found disproportionately in Jews of Ashkenazi origin. Oh, not the Jews y'all expected. They're connected to the Ashkenazi Jews, because the Ashkenazi Jews.
Minutes left.
How much? 5 minutes?
Gone.
All right. The Ashkenazi Jews was sleeping with the natives. So they got a genetic mutation that predisposed them to breast and ovarian cancer, courtesy of the Ashkenazi Jews from Europe. So they're connected in that sense, in that area of Colorado. So we have evidence of that. How did Indians possibly learn biblical concepts or ideas? Christian missionaries, Jews, European contact, or translating Bible into Native American languages. This is what they did. They established what's called praying towns. He won't tell you. Praying towns, ladies and gentlemen, they would come in. This is what they believe, that these towns would allow them to isolate and manage potential converts in order to completely change the native ways. So if they were already Bible believers, why did they need to convert them to Christianity? For what reason? This is why the Society for the Propagation for the Gospel in Foreign Parts, this is why they have all these stories and they rewrote them. This is what's going on. To take the message of the gospel to the slaves and the Native Americans. Read the bottom. Why are we playing this game? Bible translations in Native American languages from the 16th century. Look at this. Quechua, which is the #1 language in all of the Native Americans. Mayan language, the Algonquin, the Muskogean, all the Uto-Aztecan. All these languages, the Bible is being translated in there. Let's look at this book right here, Invented Knowledge. Jose da Costa and other eminent scholars rejected the possibility of Native Americans being descendants of Hebrews, as Acosta sensibly asks, how can it be when the Jews have been so assiduous in preserving their language and ancient customs, to the point that in every part of the world they live today, they differ from the rest, and in the Indies alone, they have forgotten their ancestors, their laws or whatever. Look at what, hold on, my bad. Look at what it says over here. In the region of Quito, he and his Native American guide, Francisco, confided in each other they were practicing Jews, Montesinos. Then he said they learned that they were Hebrews of the tribe of Reuben. The whites were on friendly terms with the native tribes in the area and had converted many of them to Judaism. Let's go take a look at the primary. Where's the Judeo-Indian language? Where is the language of the people that left during the Assyrian exile and came to the Americas? Because everybody else that claims to be from the Assyrian exile still speak still speak a form of Hebrew today. Why we don't find a African Judeo-African language, or a Judeo-African American language, or a Judeo-Indian language? You know why? Because you guys are not those people. Period. Look at this. In 8th century BC, the Jewish community in Iran, they still speak a dialect connected to Hebrew. This is over 2,500 years later. Look at the Jews in Babylon. Over 2,500 years, they speak Judeo-Arabic, which is replete with biblical Hebrew. So where is your language with your biblical Hebrew? You are not those people. The Native Americans are not those people. You could pull out whatever you want to pull out. I'm going to address every single one of them in the rebuttal round. They are not. Let's look at cross-comparative linguistic analysis. The Mayans, look at all the words. Father, brother, man, child, and son. Look, where is the word, where's the Hebrew word when it's translated the same? This is how you know the languages are not related. One is an Afro-Asiatic language. One is a Native American language. You're from different families.
1 minute left.
If they had a connection, these words would match. They don't match. Look at the Cherokee family. Didn't the Cherokee guy say, yo, we connected, the words are in our language? Don't believe the hype. Columbus interpreters were useless natives, did not speak or understand Hebrew. The Indians did not speak Hebrew, and the crew was forced to communicate with them via sign language. They didn't tell you all that, right? Look at the works of Natural History of the Indies, Book 2, Chapter 6. They had to use sign language to communicate. They took the natives back to Europe, and that's where they learned the language to speak and communicate. Again, the Jewish Indian theory is an erroneous theory that these people are following. It has been debunked several times over and over and over again. All right. I'm gonna yield right there. All right.
Time.
Thank you.
On perfect timing. Shout out to the good brother Garfield for putting together these monstrous debates on the Brother Garfield podcast. Make sure y'all hit the Cash App, hashtag Ask Brother Garfield to support the debaters and to support the platform and to continue to support it so it can grow. What you guys can be doing in the audience is sharing as much as possible to group chats, to your social media, to get the numbers up so people can come in and be edified and support can be given. Make sure y'all locked into that. Tonight's debate is there an Israelite presence in pre-Columbian America? Right now, we are just past the second round into the second round rebuttal. It'll be 5 minutes on each. Brother Yawasap, you'll be going first for 5 minutes. I'll be setting the time right now. Brother Yawasap, are you ready to go? And would you be sharing your screen?
Yes, please share my screen.
All right. So let me get the brother's screen up.
Please share my screen, good brother.
All right, your screen is up, and the time will start when you start.
Garfield, you done fucked up. All right, so you said haplogroup Q, right? A quick little Google research. Look at the map on the right. Haplogroup Q is found in Israel. But come, bro, this is dumb. This is you gotta be on mute, brother. This is ridiculous. Look, this is a nice little map of the main haplogroups in America. You see that? You look at that orange one. Okay. Look where it's also found. It's found in the Levant, right? Similarly, haplogroups A and B are predominantly found amongst Native Americans. Remember, we're talking about an Israelite presence. I do not believe and I do not claim everybody here is an Israelite. Native haplogroup X is one of the exceptions to this pattern of limited geographical distribution and is found at low frequencies amongst West Eurasians, northern groups of Native Americans, as well as Northern African and the Near East. Look at this. The only other place on Earth where X is found at an elevated level, apart from American Indian groups like Ojibwe and among the Druze in the hills of Galilee in northern Israel. Now let's go into the pseudo-isms of Garfield. Pseudo head ass. Look, this book, this what you read, right? This what you read, right? Okay, it's a lot here. So these are the sources that is being shown, none of which show or prove those Indians were white Jews from Europe, because this is what Garfield's claiming. He doesn't even know what this book is saying, right? Look, quoted from the source. Look, the interpretation of Montesinos had seen Jews rather than Indians in George Wiener, American Jewish Braves. Now, all the other sources on the bottom, all it shows was that Jews after the Inquisition came here. That's all they show. I don't disagree with that. Jews were in Boston. Jews were in South America. Jews went to Puerto Rico. Jews went to Jamaica. Who gives a shit? They came here, so what? But they based this theory off of America's Jewish Braves by George Wiener. Let's read this. Garfield laid his premise on a theory. Right. But what on Aaron Levy and his account? Did he really meet Hebrew speaking people? Or was the whole thing a fabrication? Today, no one believes the American Indians are descendants from the 10 lost tribes. Cool. Nobody believes it, right? Except crazy old Yawasap, right, Garfield? Except these crazy nigga brews. Right. Except these crazy, right? And nobody believes it. Right. Let's keep reading. But you're basing your entire premise off of a theory. Come on, bruh. Pseudo. Oh, where's the primary? Where's the primary? Where's the primary? Where your primary, nigga? But during the 1970s, American scholar George Wiener came up with an interesting theory. Shout out to my twin. You know who you are. I got this from you. Which he published in the article, America's Jewish Braves. According to Wiener, Aaron Levy did encounter people who knew the Shema, but they were Spanish crypto Jews from the Inquisition. Oh, this is a theory, Garfield. You brought out something that was a theory. Let's talk about some linguistics. Look at this. The Seminoles of Florida, right? Look what they said. Javeh, Javeh, Yehovah, Yehovah. They were saying this while they were singing, and this is none but a Hebrew scholar would have caught the word with an understanding of its meaning. Look at this. A study in Hebrew and the Indian languages, going into that same word I talked about, Balaam. All of those people that were labeled Balaam this, Balaam that, Balaam this, Balaam that, all throughout the oral traditions and the things that were written down. The Nato language itself has been shown to have many Hebraic Semitic roots. What the hell are we talking about, man? The Anacalyptic, look at the book on the right. Let me read the highlight. Mexican language is so full of Hebrew words as to be almost Hebrew. Let's keep going. Look at this. From the Star in the West, right? What people don't know is in the Caribbean islands, they call their chiefs the Chacmas. What does that mean? Right? Why in the northern the people in the north and in Peru were saying Yehovah or Hallelujah? Why is this recorded? Right. But Garfield doesn't want to deal with none. Nigga, you base your premise off a theory. What the hell is you talking about, man? I'm done.
Time. The topic tonight is there an Israelite presence in pre-Columbian America? Make sure y'all are hitting the Cash App, hashtag Ask Brother Garfield to support the podcast and all these heavyweight debates of Brother Garfield of the Dagger Squad. And as we just finished, Brother Yawasap of Ram Gadal Gabarian. We are in the second round rebuttal area. We're moving over to Brother Garfield's rebuttal for 5 minutes. The clock is set. Brother Garfield, I see you have your screen shared. The time will start when you start.
Hey, Yawasap, I'm going to show you why you should even debate Garfield. And I'm going to show you right now. He just jumped out the window and said it's based on a theory. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the primary account right here. The Hope of Israel. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? This is what the person is reporting. Montezinos claims he is from the tribe of Levi. He says that the tribes, these people that were there traveling with him, said the same on Israel. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one. Right? Now watch this. Those men are somewhat scorched by the sun. Some of them wear their hair long down to their knees. Others of them shorter, and others of them much as we commonly cut it. I don't have to shout. Whose skin gets scorched by the sun? These are white people. Montezinos' brothers is not the Indians. If you read the source, the primary source, Montezinos was not talking about the Israelites' brothers saying the Shema Israel. He was talking about that they repeated it because they are converts. They were taught by these people who had scarred skin that was white. So how is it a theory? You just jumped out the window and fought the whole debate up, screaming for no reason. They were not that, bro. The brethren are the sons of Israel and brought thither by the providence of God. And how do we know? They got into a war with the Indians. The Indians admitted it. That's how they started worshiping the God of Israel, because they were fighting against them and they got their ass whooped. So they said, we got to submit to this God that these guys worship because they're kicking our ass. You see, you got to read the primary, beloved. Then you won't have to jump out the window. Don't come at me like that I ain't the best out there, bro. So the Indians tried to kill off the Jews, but they got killed off and acknowledged the Jews' God is the right God. They are converts. The Jews who were there were white Jews or light-skinned Jews that got scorched by the sun. Jesus Christ. Now let's look at this New Ark Holy Stone. I'm sorry. Can you pause my time 1 second, brother? Hold on 1 second. All right. Thanks for pausing. All right. You could start back. The New Ark Holy Stone, ladies and gentlemen, The reason why this is a hoax, because the guy, he doesn't, you see, this is why I know you're not a good researcher. You're looking for things to agree with you and not look at the whole story. Now, this Newark Holy Stone, for those who don't know, they found one first in 1860, right? When they found the first one in 1860, it was written with modern Hebrew. So the guy, David Warwick, he went back and created another one with some sort of ancient Hebrew writings. Nobody believed him. But guess what? The radiocarbon date of the documents go back to the 1st century. So it wasn't from late time or whatever, but it's also written in a modern format of how you would write the Hebrew. So that's how they know it wasn't ancient. But if you listen to Yawasap, you would believe everything that he's saying like he's right on point. Garfield is killing you. Why is there a controversy? Because guess what? Anything to do with Israel and the lost tribes, it was very, you see, what's happening in America in 1960? They were debating about monogenesis and polygenesis. High tensions about slavery directly related to these ideological debates. Question of whether African blacks should be enslaved, President Lincoln election. So now what happened is, what does ideology have to do with it? If monogenesis are correct, this means that the African blacks and Native Americans are fully human and could not be enslaved or exterminated. Finding an ancient Hebrew artifact within an ancient Native American burial mound means that the Native Americans would have known about Moses and the Bible, thus providing proof that they originated from Adam and Eve. This is what the person was trying to do. They were even trying to mess with the election with Abraham Lincoln. It's a bigger story than what you think, bro. Now, why is it a forgery? It was found in a shallow hole. The Hebrew used is modern 1800s typography.
1 minute left.
That's the main issue with that. Now, let me hold on a second. Let me get out of this real quick. Let me do this real quick. I got to do the Bat Creek Stone. The reason why the Bat Creek Stone is a fake, he won't tell you that Manford and Quast found the source. It's in the General History of the Encyclopedia and Dictionary of Freemasonry. They found the picture where it came from, family. This is what the person copied. Come on, Yawasap. You didn't know this? And you claim you were a researcher, bro? The source for the writing is discovered. The top. This is the book. This is what they found, the Bat Creek Stone. The person copied the top. This is obvious. What are you jumping out the window like you can research? You're a baby, bro. The Bat Creek Stone is fake. The only reason you believe it because that's your belief. I keep telling you that. You got to put everything out there and make a decision. This Bat Creek Stone is fake. The Newark Holy Stones is a hoax. The guy who found it said he may have been a victim of a hoax.
Time.
Come on, man. Come on. Really?
Make sure y'all hitting the cash out. Hashtag Ask Brother Garfield. It's definitely a heated debate, which is what we expected. High level edification and tension. If you guys can, make sure y'all are sharing the platform. The numbers is raising. Make sure y'all are supporting the platform financially. It helps the debaters come together and bring out most of this edification to present to you guys so we can get a little further in our growth. Brother Garfield, if you can, before we move into the third round, can you take a second to speak about what the brother Rodney have going on in Chicago and demonstrate that link, and then we can move on into the third round. Just a quick intermission. I can't hear the brother.
You on mute, Garfield?
I said, let me take that dagger off the screen and take some of the blood off the screen. All right, but let me do this for the family, and please don't use that Bat Creek Stone again and that Newark Holy Stone. Leave that alone. All right, but anyway, let me find this right here so I could put it up on the screen right here. For those who don't know, my brother Rodney Henderson, he's a very good brother out of Chicago. He's doing a coat drive for the young children in Chicago who can't afford it. And his name is Rodney Henderson. His Cash App is $count on Rodney. Count on Rodney. All right, count on Rodney. Y'all send whatever you guys can.
Leave it up there another like 30 seconds, man.
Yeah, what I'm gonna tell everybody is this. He's gonna report back to us. I'm gonna do a show with Rodney where he could tell us how many coats he bought and bring out the receipt so everybody could see where the money went and so forth. His Cash App should be flooded right now. It should be flooded. His Cash App should be flooded right now.
Listen, debates are cool. Edification is cool. Me and Garfield enjoy it. But at the end of the day, it's about doing what we got to do for our people, man. So support the brother Rodney. He's doing great things out there, man. It's about the people at the end of the day. Go ahead, Garfield.
Yeah. So yeah, again, ladies and gentlemen, $ count on Rodney. Count on Rodney. All right. Count on Rodney and check him out. All right. Coat drive. It's a coat drive for the children family. Winter is coming. Trust me, you would be surprised. A lot of people can't afford a simple jacket, a $200 jacket, $150. You'd be shocked. And we hear arguing about this. This is just hobby for me and Yawasap. Because after this, we're gonna be on the phone laughing with Corey. Yo, you got me with that. You got me with this. And we're gonna be laughing. So at the end of the day, me and Yawasap we gonna talk shit all day. Although he did curse, he surprised me when he cursed. I didn't even know the brother cursed. But but we're gonna support this. I'm asking everybody to support Rodney. Right. Sister Nakia in the building. She said, "Run up the tab. Run up the tab with the fire." Let me put it on the screen real quick. Yeah, run up the tab, man. We got it. Run up the tab, man.
Run up the tab.
Run up the tab.
Shout out to the sister Nakia, and shout out to the brother Rodney, right? Because I just want to speak right quick. That's an excellent brother to have in the community, and I'm just telling y'all now. As much as funds we can send to that brother to help him out, it'll be beautiful, but that brother is going to pull it off regardless. That's that type of brother. He going to do it regardless. He going to go in his bank account and make it happen. So I just want to say, cash tag, count on Rodney for the coat drive that he's putting together in Chicago. Hopefully he has many more things going on because he's the type of brother that needs to be spearheading such movements. So cash tag counting Rodney, and then we'll make sure we submit that information at the end of the debate. Regardless of that, though, we want to get back to the smoke.
One second,
what brother. You got, brother Garfield? Because you cutting me off now.
I want to say this. When we do the debates, we can't control every single comment, and I'm not even reading the comments. Only like when I'm like not talking. But I see brothers going at sisters in the chat. I don't know what personal problems y'all got before y'all come in my chat, but I'll kick both of y'all out. I ain't got time for that. We here to have fun. And by the way, too, y'all can get emotional in the chat. But again, I'm going to say this. Corey's my dude, and Yawasap is my dude. So even you're going to see them on here doing shows anyway. So we ain't got no problems. Right. So no matter what, this is battle right now. We in battle zone right now. We ain't friends right now. But at the end of the day, after the debate done, we good. We good. So the personal stuff, whatever they going on with the sister and whoever else, y'all chill out, man. Just chill out. Enjoy the debate. Enjoy the information. Go back. Do some research. If you need a source from me, my email is askbrothergarfield@gmail.com. All right?
Yeah. The topic of tonight's debate is there an Israelite presence in pre-Columbian America? We got the brother Yawasap and Garfield against the brother Garfield of the Dagger Squad. Right now, we moving into the third round. Both 10-minute rounds. Brother Yawasap will be going first. If we can take down Rodney's Cash App, I think it's still up.
My bad.
No problem. And brother Yawasap, will you be sharing your screen?
Of course I will, my good brother.
All right, so let me go ahead and get that up. Let me get that time set. Make sure y'all are supporting Brother Garfield podcast. Hit Cash App, cash tag, ask Brother Garfield. All right. Let me get that time set for you, brother Yawasap. The time is set. Let me share your screen. All right, and the time will start when you start, brother Yawasap.
Can you hear me?
Con.
I just wanted to make sure. Now we're going to show a Phoenician and Israelite connection to travels of the Americas, right? Let's go. So the very word Phoenician was unknown to them, the Phoenicians. The label was passed on them by the Greeks and preserved by accident that the Greek language and its literature and not the Phoenician have been passed down to us, right? You see the source there. Now you also see in Capan, Honduras, that they're having images of elephants. Hey, are there elephants? All right, let's keep going. This is a quotation attributed to the Carthaginian rabbi, right? It says, from Tyre to Carthage, the nations know Israel and their father who is in heaven. But from Tyre westwards and from Carthage eastwards, Nations know neither Israel nor their Father who is in heaven. I'm saying this for a reason. Now look at this on the left, right? This is at Tula, a Toltec capital, shoveling rubbish from the remains of houses, right? Has Phoenician seals on it, and a vase with a bearded robe, mustache, tullock, holding a bolt of lightning. Let's continue, right? It says, the Indian who wrought the rude outlines upon a rock at Dighton little dreamed that this work would ultimately come to be regarded as affording indubitable, it's a great word, evidence of Hebrew and Phoenician and Scandinavian and adventure and colonization in the Americas. See, I don't hide that many people came here. I don't hide that at all. But the point is the Brews came here too, right? Let's keep going. The Dighton Rock, right there in Massachusetts. In 1807, Samuel Harris is what was talking about in the previous book. Harris Jr., a Harvard scholar, declared that he was able to decipher on the face of the rock 3 ancient Hebrew words in Phoenician letters: king, priest, and idol. Let's continue, right? Now, this is something that I've actually heard Garfield go into, but I'm going to read a certain part of this, right? I'm going to read the right-hand side. This is from a book, Feast and Wisdoms of the Ancients and Timeline Books, published in 1990. It says, so-called inaccuracies of vocabulary and grammar cited by critics in 1874 had become, by 1968, mere idiosyncrasies of dialect. Similarities between the inscription in ancient Hebrew, once considered evidence of deceit, had since been documented as normal among Phoenicians, a people who mix readily with a number of other cultures. Moreover, Gordon's analysis seems to reveal no fewer 3 cryptograms buried in the tail. One typical of ancient scripts include numbers that, when added, confirm the date given by the writer. So this is known as the Paraiba inscription, that during the 1800s, oh, it's a hoax, it's a hoax, it's a hoax. But during in the 1960s, they actually realized that there were other Phoenician inscriptions that match what was written down in Brazil, right? Now look at this. You see the source there. After a considerable research, she traced upturned shoes to either Hittites or their successors and imitators, the Phoenicians, renowned as great seafarers who regularly wore long clinging double robes, turbans with ribbons, pointed beards, and upturned shoes. So impressive is the evidence accumulated by scholars to the effect that the Phoenicians reached the shores of both North and South America. It is hard to understand why it continues to be shunned. Now look at this on the right-hand side. Same book. This is startlingly Semitic figures found throughout Mesoamerica. These are figures in Mesoamerica. Look what they're wearing. Upturned shoes, beards. Look what's written behind them. This is in Mesoamerica. Now, on the left-hand side, these are Israelites with upturned shoes on the black obelisk, just showing correlations. And this is a Mayan figure with a turban. Hey, Garfield, remember before we came on, you made fun of mine? Look at that, brother. He look good, man. I don't know about the earrings, but he look good with the Mitri on. You know what I'm saying? Now let's continue, right? Left-hand side. A polychrome tetracot figurine from the island of Janea, presumably representing a Mayan version of the Phoenician god Bes, because this looks exactly like the gods that were inscribed in ancient Phoenicia, which is just a layman term, right? Now, our word Byblos, Bitas, Sidon, and Tyre became the heartland of Phoenicia. I'm showing you this for a reason. Let's continue. Hiram himself is from the tribe of Naphtali. You see the source there. Who was the Phoenicians? And the widow, in the other words, Hiram is from the tribe of Naphtali.
5 minutes left.
His mother is from the tribe of Dan. It must be remembered that tribal affiliation was by the house of the father. Hence, shout out to the fake Jews. Hence, Hiram was from the tribe of Naphtali by the house of his father, whereas his mother was from the tribe of Dan. When the text adds, and his father was a man of Tyre, this is to inform the reader that although his father was of the tribe of Naphtali, he resided in Tyre. Why was it necessary to make this remark? because it was the tribe of Asher which had conquered Tyre and settled there, and not the tribe of Naphtali. Hiram is then an Israelite both on his father's and his mother's side. Josephus writes about Hiram, who was a Naphthalite descendant on his mother's side, for he was of that tribe, whose father was Urias, an Israelite by race. This means he regards him as an Israelite on both sides, except that he substitutes the tribe of Dan with the tribe of Naphtali on the mother's side. To sum up, names such as Sidonian or Tyrian do not indicate that the intention is non-Israelites. They are by no means synonymous with Canaanites, as most scholars seem to believe. Let's continue. You see the evidence in the scriptures, and you see the evidence in Josephus, right? Right here. Now, Solomon sent an artificer of Tyre, whose name was Hiram. He was by birth of the tribe of Naphtali on his mother's side, but his father was of the stock of the Israelites. Let's continue. Now, the left-hand side, you see the map when the kingdom was united under Saul and David. You see on the top right hand, the top left hand, Sidon and Tyre underneath control of the Israelites. Let's quick little Wikipedia, right? And you can see this in Joshua, right? Sites which, according to the Bible, were located to Asher and whose locations has since been identified appear to be scattered distribution of settlements rather than an impact and well-defined tribal region. Perhaps because of the situation that this territory was in the area that was controlled by Phoenicia. Let's continue, right? Now, this is a commercial network of the Phoenicians. You see how they went from Carthage to Cyrene. You see how they went to Iberia, which is modern-day Spain, and even going as far as Morocco and so on and so forth, right? Let's continue. Now, it says they traded in the Levant and sailing all over the Mediterranean and beyond. The Phoenicians developed markets and acquired raw materials from places hitherto unknown to the Near East. Their ships sailed as far as the Straits of Gibraltar and beyond the Atlantic. A cuneiform tablet on the 7th century BC refers to Phoenician grain merchants in Assyria using Judean grain measure. I wonder why. Inscriptions show that Phoenicians were widely present in Israel and Judah, not only in Galilee and the coastal plain, but also inland, even in places as remote as Kuntalet, Adrad, and the Negev. Let's continue. All this is being shown for a reason, right? Now look at this. That book that Garfield does not like. That's what the old ones say, right? Now it says, we find both the horned serpent and the Hamsa together in possession of all ancient Mississippians. The Hamsa has been traced to ancient Mesopotamia, modern-day Iraq, as well as ancient Carthage, dating back
1 minute left.
3100 BC. The Middle Eastern horned serpent is native to northern Africa. And the ancient astronomers used the snake star formation to represent the horned serpent that is used by First Nations, meaning natives. Now look at this. In Phoenicia were white men that may have been traditionally whites of Shawnees. If they were, as Signar Gunno suggests, a copper-colored race, then they have like been progenitors of Shawnees. Now it's clear to see the Shawnees representation is Shoshana, which is also the Hebrew word for rose, which also represents that tribe itself. But let's continue, right? Got one more. Some old men of the Yucatan say that they have heard from their ancestors that this country was peopled by a certain race who came from the east, whom God delivered by opening them 12 roads from the sea. If this is true,
Time. Shout out to the good brother Yawasap of Rum Gadal Gabarium, lighting the fire in his third round. Make sure you guys are following the Brother Garfield podcast and financially support the Brother Garfield podcast on the Cash App at #, Ask Brother Garfield. Ask Brother Garfield. Make sure y'all are supporting the platform. Like and subscribe to the platform. Tonight's debate is there an Israelite presence in pre-Columbian America? I got the time set for Brother Garfield's third round, 10-minute section. Brother Garfield, are you ready? I can't hear you if you're speaking.
I'm going to do something quick, and then I'm going to have you stop my time. All right?
All right, what you got?
All right, hold on before you start my time. Hold on 1 second here. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. I wanted to show something with the Q marker just to break it down to him because he obviously made a very horrible mistake.
Hold on,
All
right. One second. If it has something to do with the edification / information rebuttal, I got to start the time.
Yeah, no, I'm not ready yet. That's what I'm saying. Hold on 1 second. All right, so here we go. All right, so you could start. You ready?
Yep.
Yeah. Earlier when he showed the markers, people got to understand with haplogroups, you have Q, you have different form of Qs. So the one that's in the Native American area, you have Q1A and you have Q1B, and Q1B is the one that's actually the Native American one. The Q1B is the one that he showed. The Q1A is actually the one that's in Native America. All right, so there's a difference when you're showing both DNA from Q. So there's different forms of Q. So when you showed the Q earlier, you actually was mixed up. You're showing one Q, but that Q is not in Native Americans. The Q is one big branch, but that particular Q is in the Levant, the one that you showed. The other Q that I showed, M242, is actually in the Americas. All right, you could pause my time. All right, just to make a point on that. All right, let me get to this here. All right, hold on 1 second. All right, you can start my time, my brother. All right, so Manasseh ben Israel, and for the record, just to show, Manasseh ben Israel, believing Montezuma's account, asserted there were Jews hidden in South America as well as in other places across Asia and Africa. He argued that the supposed cultural similarities resulted from the indigenous people's ancestors borrowing them from Jews who were living among them, rather than the indigenous populations encountered being of Jewish descent. And that's a major point that people leave out with Manasseh ben Israel. He's not teaching what you hear the Israelites teach. He's teaching that they are converts, just for the record. All right. James Adair 23 claims. I don't know if he's going to get into that, but you're going to see how most of these stuff is just totally incorrect. All right. I'm going to, all right. So moving forward. All right. Hold on. Yeah, James Adair was not familiar with Jewish customs. He couldn't speak the language, but he was making an assessment based off his own use. And actually, you had Adair did not know Hebrew, so how was he able to compare the languages? Which was kind of crazy, but we believe it. He was not familiar with language families and linguistic groups. Thomas Jefferson referred to Adair's notions as a kink and warned John Adams about actually using his works. All right, and this is where he believed in the Bering Strait, James Adair. All right, so moving forward, let me see what we have here. Okay. Okay. Yeah, Christopher Columbus himself, he thought when he got to Cuba, he thought he was actually heading to India, to the Asian continent. It wasn't until his third and fourth voyage that he realized that he was in some other location. The idea of an exile that is coming to an end becomes Israel's project to achieve the readmission of Jews to England, where they have been absent since expulsion in 1290. In medieval Hebrew literature, I want everybody to pay attention, including Yawasap. This is some serious shit right here. In medieval Hebrew literature, England had also been designated as one of the four corners of the earth. So in the Bible, when people like to say, oh, we got to be scattered to the four corners of the earth, they call England the four corners of the earth, these Europeans and these Jews and these Christians. So this is why they wanted to admit the Jews back to England. So that was the purpose of Hope of Israel by Manasseh ben Israel, to try it, because they thought the world was coming to an end and it was going to be the beginning of the Messianic age. So the England was called the four corners of the earth. England, British Israelism, Anglo-Israelism, the Christian identity, all that stuff that you guys copy. So the Jewish Indian theory in the Hispanic world, we find them people are using, what do you call it? They're translating the translations of indigenous narratives into a biblical style. This is what I was talking about earlier. So when you're quoting Diego Duran and other people who translated different things, they're translating with a biblical twist. And this is the problem that I have with people saying after Columbus. This is why I asked for before Columbus. And for the whole debate, you have proposed the Bat Creek, you have proposed now you propose the Dighton Rock and the stone in Brazil. Mexicans and Peru are Hebrew words, which is actually nuts because we know where the words come from, and they definitely don't have anything to do with Hebrew words. So anyway, from the mid-19th century onwards, it became more and more difficult to support the thesis of the Hebrew origins of the Native Americans. What put an end to the thesis of the Jewish Indian was evidently better ethnographical knowledge of the indigenous societies. So all that stuff that I showed with the DNA and all that different stuff, that actually put an end to all of that stuff that you talk about. All right? Yeah, you haven't proposed the Los Lunas stones yet, but I do want to make a proposal.
5 minutes left.
All right. Hold on 1 second here. All right, let me share this. Hold on. So you have the Pittsburgh phylacteries, which a lot of people think it's on the Indian Hill. That can't be proven whether it was ancient or not. Actually, a report came out that it's actually dated to something recent based off the evidence that the person had provided before they it became missing. That's the Pittsfield phylacteries. You didn't present it, but I just want to put it out there. All right. People worried about carbon dating. Carbon dating was used to confirm parts of the Bible. So it seems like we only respect carbon dating when it's a for or pro argument for the biblical text. This is the Kinderhook plates. I don't know if you're going to present this, but this was an April Fool's prank for Joseph Smith from the Mormons. All right. The Dighton rocks. I want people to pay attention to this right here. The Dighton rocks. This is an original picture on the right-hand side right here. The petroglyph. It doesn't look nothing like what you presented, because what happened is you had these guys who presented the Dighton rock to make it look. It can't be an Indian writing. It has to be African, Asian, or European. It was actually declared an Indian rock writing, brother. It was declared that. See it right here? Hold on a second, family. Hold on 1 second. So the Dighton rock you just presented is actually the guy whose picture you showed. He actually made up that own drawing of it, and it actually wasn't what the drawing was. See, this is the drawing that you showed. This drawing is actually fake. That's the one that you showed in your slides. This guy made it up, and it doesn't look nothing like the actual drawing of the petroglyphs. Grave Creek stone. I don't know if you're going to present this with Cyrus Thomas or whatever, but this is also was created to create profit for the people, to say that it's connected again to ancient Israel. The Father Nazario stones. I don't know if you're going to present this. 600-year statues. How do they know it's 600 years? Because they tested it. This gentleman went to Israel, Father Nazario stones. This is the guy who's the leading scholar in it. There he goes in Israel. And what they're saying, ladies and gentlemen, given the inexplicable nature of the statues, origin theories had abounded. Nazario himself postulated that they had been carved by descendants of 10 lost tribes. This is what Father Nazario said. Now, this theory did not win acceptance. 10 tribes, no. Rodriguez Ramos, who's the guy right here, he explained that Christopher Ralston, an expert in ancient languages of the Levant, including Hebrew and Phoenician, suggests ostensibly similarities might be observed here and there, but the structures of the writing systems are fundamentally different. So who along the timeline actually did it? We don't know, but we do know it's dated to around 600 years, around 500 to 600 years ago. That's when the writings took place on the actual stones. All right, just for the record. All right. And of course, we have the people that actually did it. All right. And these are the script. This is the ancient Hebrew script on the right. This is the Nazario stones on the left. If you want to say that's Hebrew, make my day. This is the inscription in Brazil, the Parabia inscription, which is a forgery. Somebody created this whole stone, basically, again, for personal gain, trying to get in with the government to get funding and all that stuff. Again, Cyrus Gordon always agrees and said this is correct and so forth. But when the research comes out, it's a whole nother thing. All right. Random claims about Native Americans. Issachar de Matamoros, phylacteries, Star of David, Cherokee High Holy Days, Chief Joseph Assyrian tablet. Let's take a look. How much time I got left, bro?
1 minute left.
Issachar of Matamoros does not come from Issachar, the Bible. It's actually somebody's name. The name was actually Itzakan, but when the Spaniards came, they mispronounced it as Issachar. Has nothing to do with biblical Issachar. That is wrong. It's pseudo. All right. This is the morning prayer phylacteries that you see a lot of people posting online. This is actually the stele of Tepalaxo, Veracruz. I think you actually did show this earlier. The Mormons are the one that put out this translation and try to imply that it's something special on the side, but it's actually a game that the native people made, and it has nothing to do with what they're trying to imply. All right. Hold on a second here. Okay. One last one. Unexpected Faces, the Star of David. The Star of David on the phylacteries or whatever, massive Inca stone star shape.
Time. Make sure y'all are cash apping and supporting financially the cash tag Ask Brother Garfield Cash App. We have just concluded the third round. The topic tonight is there an Israelite presence in pre-Columbian America? We got the Brother Yawasap and Garfield going against Brother Garfield of the Dapper Squad. Make sure y'all are supporting the platform, sharing it. We are now moving into the third round rebuttal. Both of you guys got 5 minutes on this one, correct? We good? 5 minutes? 5 minutes?
Yes, sir.
Con. So, Brother Yawasap, would you be utilizing your screen?
Yes, I would. I'll talk first and I'll let you know. So be on point.
All right, good deal. Let me set the time right now. All right. So the time is set for 5 minutes. I will call it at 1 minute. And the time will start when you start.
All right. Garfield continues to just argue about things that I never even brought up. I would have loved for him to actually deal with certain things that I said. And that's just ridiculous. Even with him showing, it literally showed that they asserted that Jews taught Indians. What does the word asserted mean, Garfield? Does that mean that it happened, or is this an assertion that the Jews that came here, that were exposed from Europe, were teaching Indians and converting Indians? That you're just making stuff up, bro. Right? I just want to deal with something real quick. You can share my screen now, right? You can share my screen. All right, so these are things that's never talked about the Los Lunas Stone, right? So you see on the top left-hand corner, you'll see where the 10 Commandments is saying inscribed. You'll see at the top, you'll see the Most High's name, and then you'll see Allah Hayanawa, right? You'll also see that, right? You don't know what Hebrew is, so that's cool. So then you'll also see something known as a zodiac stone. So the solar eclipse panel on the top of Hidden Mount, depicting a monument in time in September 15th, 107 BC. Astrology software stepping back in time to get about 90% match from the petroglyph rock on Hidden Mount with the star chart of the night sky of 107 BC. So, Garfield, why didn't you talk about this? Oops. Why are you only talking about the Los Lunas Stone? Why aren't you talking about anything else that's around it? Because there's a whole lot of stuff all throughout that entire region that would actually point to a Semitic or a Hebrew presence in that area. Why aren't you talking about this? When these carvings date back to the same exact time that the carvings of the Los Lunas Stone date back to. Because you don't want to talk about that. You want to just argue a straw man. Everything is fake. Everything is fake. That's Yawasap. I mean, that's Garfield's argument against Yawasap. Right. Everything is fake. Nothing is real. Right? I mean, I can't wait to get to the question round. You can stop sharing my screen, right? Because he did deal with haplogroup Q, but he never mentioned anything about haplogroup X. I was interested in that. I went, maybe he's gonna show me something on haplogroup X. Didn't say nothing about it. Hopefully he does it in his next 5-round rebuttal. But you're arguing against things that I never mentioned. Look at them Googling. Look at them Googling. Haplogroup X. Let's see where it is. Let's see. Let's see. But what you have to understand is he's making a bunch of assertions and arguing about things that I never even mentioned, bro. Never mentioned at all. So let's, a matter of fact, share my screen. We're going to go through this in these last couple minutes. We're going to fly through it. Right? So we showed the map of haplogroup Q. Right? We showed haplogroup X. Right? We showed that it's also found in Israel. Bering Strait. Modern scientists are debunking this. The Indians themselves are debunking this by what they're saying. And I'm flying through the PowerPoints just like Garfield did. He didn't even read nothing. He just kept talking. The pseudoisms of Garfield, the very book he went into, all the sources that he went into. Shout out to my twin, right? He knows who he is. Everything that all of this, that doesn't prove anything. The theory that he based his entire premise off of. Even what he showed, it said assertion, right? The things about the lost Lunas stone that nobody wants to talk about, right? The linguistics found amongst the Seminole Indians, right? The linguistics in a study in Hebrew in the Indian languages. You also find it right here. You find it right here. You find it right here. You also find it in a book known as the Nexus Languages, right? So David demonstrates a verse-by-verse correspondence between creolized Phoenician and Hebrew phrases of the Torah. The Mayans' most sacred book, the Popol Vuh, I went into that. He didn't talk about it. Starts with the creation story that closely mirrors the Old Testament. And these weren't white people translating this. I don't know where he's getting that from. Then he showed a bunch of things that which was post-Columbian, not pre-Columbian, saying the Indians drew this out, when those are all codexes made by the Spaniards themselves. It goes on to tell of a migration of a people across the sea that was split, didn't deal with that, such that they were able to walk on dry shod, Moses splitting the Red Sea. After a 40-year migration led by a leader, Kukulkan, they finally reached Chichen Itza. Deal reveals that the name...
Time. Let's get a third round reset on the 5 minutes. That was Brother Garfield. I'm going to slack you. That was Brother Yawasap of Rum Gadal Gabarium's third round rebuttal 5-minute section. We're moving on to Brother Garfield of Dagger Squad's 5-minute section of the third round. Brother Garfield, are you ready? The time is set. Would you be sharing your screen, Brother Garfield? You on mute. You're on mute.
First of all, you could start the clock. I gotta say something to the brother, man. Listen, haplogroup X is a mitochondrial DNA. That's for the female. So you don't even know what you're talking about. That's why I don't even respond to foolishness. But if you want me to respond to that, bro, leave the DNA alone. There's a reason why Hebrews don't deal with DNA. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I brought up Montezinos for a second, right? Now, how is it an assertion when two people go to war and they say to what's his name, to Montezinos, that they accept that God now? It's not a theory, bro. They accept the God of Israel because they got their ass whooped. So Katazar, who is texting you, that's your twin, is getting dagged at the same time. The primary says that. So it's not an assertion. So those people were converted by the Jews that were there who kicked their ass. The white Jews. Dead. Come on, man. Cut it out. Now, the reason why I showed all that other stuff, family, is because a lot of people make these claims, and they're already in my slides. Well, let's address another thing. What did he say? Did he say anything else that I need to respond to? He hasn't shown. You see, this is the problem. Nobody believes this stuff. There's no scientist that believes this stuff. I'm not saying to appeal to scholarship, but if nobody accepts it in academia, why should I accept it? That means it's groundbreaking news. All this stuff has already been debunked, bro. What you're bringing is late. This is why there's no such thing as a Hebrew Israelite scholar, because all you guys do is push nonsense and pseudo scholarship. So there's nothing to debunk. This, what you're presenting, is for the people in the audience who believe. They're going to say you're winning because you're repeating what they've heard before. But to a person who knows the information, it's pseudo. And it's always been pseudo. Now, let's take a look at this right here. Pause my time for 1 second, please. As far as the lost lunar stones, family, and let me just say this to everybody. Now, the person who wrote on the lost lunar stone, they wrote in Greek and Latin letters. So it's no ancient person writing. So what scholars have come up with is with a theory, because the person who wrote it made a lot of errors. They use dots at the end of sentences, something that word dividers are not that way. They use word dividers, not sentence dividers. So they use word dividers. They also use Greek letters right here. I can show you the Greek letters right now. Right here, see the Greek letters. Look at the Greek letters for hey and all that stuff. They're using Greek letters and Latin letters. Why is this ancient if they're using Greek and Latin letters? And they're writing in scripts, the Iberian Peninsula script, which is proof that the Iberian Jews. There's also proof that the Iberian Jews went to New Mexico. So that's the current theory right now, bro. You got to get hip up to date. I'm not saying it's a hoax. I'm saying that Iberian Jews may have wrote it. That's the best case scenario, but it's not ancient. It's only ancient to somebody who wants to believe it's ancient. All right, let's look at I deal with Father Nazario. Let's deal with the language for a second. The Udo-Aztec language and Hebrew. Cross-cultural linguistic analysis, VSO versus SSO. Let me put this dagger on the screen so you will never repeat that pseudoisms again. Let me put this on the screen. When anyone says there's a language connection, family, this is the basic you could do. And I want everybody to pay attention to this. This is the Jewish feast, the Cherokee feast. All right? The writing system, the typology. I want y'all to look at this right here. The Cherokee and the ancient Hebrew. They're not connected. All right? Do Israelites have spirit animals? I doubt it, but we know
1 minute left.
Yeah, this is just let me just do this last thing here. They got 13 days in the week. Hold on, let me come out of this right here. Hold on 1 second. Here we go. This is what I need. I want everybody to freeze this and look at this. This is called linguistic typology. All right? And Yawasap, take your pen and paper and learn something. Subject, object, verb, object. This is called the way the linguistic typology, how the language is written. Cherokee and Udo-Aztecan is a subject, object, verb language, meaning they would say cows, grass, eat. Now the Hebrews, they would say cows eat grass, and biblical Hebrew would say eat cows, grass. They are not the same language. This is the ultimate proof of it. They don't write the same way. They don't focus the verbs, the nouns the same way. They are different. So they are not the same language. Stop repeating pseudoisms. Nobody takes that guy Stubbs serious who wrote about the Uto-Aztecan language and Cherokee and all that stuff.
Time. Make sure y'all cash app and support the Brother Garfield podcast. Hit the cash tag, Ask Brother Garfield. Hit the cash tag right now, Ask Brother Garfield, to support the platform as well as support the debaters. Tonight we have Brother Yawasap of Ram Gadal Gabarium going up against Brother Garfield of the Dagger Squad. The topic tonight: is there an Israelite presence in pre-Columbian America? We'll get to the Rodney event that he has going on after the questionnaire round. Right now, we're going straight into the Q&A. This is the Q&A round. It will be 7 minutes each for each debater. Yawasap will be putting Garfield on the hot seat first, but it's 5 questions, meaning if that 5th question kind of runs into the 7-minute period to where it comes close to the complete time, I would allow that question to come out in its completion, and then I will also allow the person who's on the hot seat to give a full answer. Does Brother Yawasap and Brother Garfield agree?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, good deal. So right now, Brother Yawasap, you will be putting Brother Garfield on the hot seat, but will you be sharing your screen?
I'm not gonna share my screen. Nope.
All right, so it'll be roughly about I would say about a minute and 20 seconds, something like that, in reference to the answering section of each question. If you can make the questions fairly clean and precise and concise and quick, and then it'll roll over to Brother Garfield to answer. Try not to drown all the time out if you guys can, but the time is set to 7 minutes right now, and the time will start when Brother Yawasap starts his question.
All right, can you show me the dating process for the mummies you dated for 9,000 years old, and also the archaeological places you dated for 13,000 years old? I'm curious about that.
I didn't show anywhere for 13,000. That was a child. They use what's called a rapid rate to check through DNA. That's how they dated the child. That's not dated that way. As far as the mummy, to be honest with you, I don't have that information on me.
Okay. Can you provide anything outside of the Bible and native documents or accounts of the Americas showing a man touching the water with his staff to split the sea and his people walking across it for deliverance?
No.
Okay. How can you say that all the traditions of the Native Americans are faulty or are added anything of conversion of this is also coming from people that were actually saying this pre-Columbian?
No records that you provided was pre-Columbian as far as verbalizations. It was later on translations based off of oral traditions when Europeans and white folks had contact with the native folks. This is not pre-Columbian. This is why I said you have not shown anything pre-Columbian except for one or two stuff that's fake, like the Bat Creek stone, which has been refuted and debunked, and the Los Luna stuff, which has been refuted and debunked. Next question.
All right, cool. Do you believe that all historians, linguists, archaeologists are wrong about the influence of the ancient Near East and Israelite connections to pre-Columbian America?
I don't know about all, but the consensus of scholarship thinks it's a ludicrous idea, and it's only people like you that present it.
Okay, final question, right? That was 4?
That was 5.
No, I counted 4.
4? All right, cool.
All right. Are you saying that all of the Hebrew artifacts that were found over here are forgeries and completely debunked?
No, I don't think the Los Lunas is a hoax. I don't think it's fake either. I think it's written by folks who I think the best. I'll send you the article too. It's a very new theory. It's a theory, but it makes the most sense that the Iberian Jews, because the script that they use on the Los Lunas matches how the Iberian Jews wrote. They also use Greek and Latin scripts also. So that's why it makes sense, because it wouldn't make sense for somebody ancient to use Greek or Latin.
All right.
All right. So that concludes Brother Garfield.
Also funny.
Okay. So what is this? What is this happening right here? Should I back off a little bit and let it happen? Or should I cut it off? All right, I'll close it out. So that was 5 questions from Brother Yawasap over to Brother Garfield. We will reset. If you're just coming in, tonight's debate is there an Israelite presence in pre-Columbian America? That is Brother Yawasap of the Rum Gadal Gabarium going against Brother Garfield of the Dagger Squad. Make sure you are supporting the Brother Garfield podcast. He puts together heavyweight debates that we've seen happen in the last several weeks. Make sure you hit the cash app, the cash tag Ask Brother Garfield. Now we're switching over to the 7-minute period of the question and answer round with Brother Yawasap on the hot seat, and Brother Garfield gets to ask questions. It would be 5 questions. If it comes down towards the last question, running into the time period, I would allow the question and allow the answer. Other than that, the time is reset at 7 minutes. Brother Garfield, are you sharing your screen?
No, my brother.
All right, good deal. So the time will start when you start your question.
All right. My brother, you made a claim earlier. You played a video and you also made a claim, right? And it's also a James Adair claim that the Cherokee split up into tribes, just like the Israelites. So like the 12 tribes, they also did that. Is that a fact?
I didn't make that claim.
That was on the video that you played, my brother.
The video, that's question number 2. The video I played was actually had to do with showing that these people had a connection to Israel. That's all.
All right. Are you aware? Are you aware on the lost lunar stones they use what's called a carrot? Are you familiar with what a carrot is? And if you are, why would that be on a lost lunar stone if it's old?
Are you talking about the dots and dashes?
Not the dots. I'm talking. That's why I asked if you know what a carrot is.
Nah, I'm not familiar.
All right, a carrot is what we use, family, when you're making a correction. Just for the audience. This is, he said he don't know, but I'm just making the audience be clear.
Oh, you're talking about the correction because one verse was actually written in the wrong place, so they put an arrow to show that this verse was actually above.
Right. So that's a correct. That's a correct. Right. So you
because they made it. It's because they made a mistake during the carving.
All right, that's fine, but that's only been used since the 16th century. All right, so let's move on to the next one. Are you familiar? Hold on, let me share my screen on this one. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Let me share my screen here. Let me share my screen. This right here. Am I sharing?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Are you familiar that the top one this is for the Bat Creek stone that you use as evidence of prehistoric or pre-Columbian? Are you familiar that the conclusion of the research by Quaz and Manford is that the carving at the bottom is actually the person who was carving took this from the writing above, which was in a Freemasonry book? Are you familiar? Okay, so you disagree though?
No, I don't disagree. It has nothing to do with what was found inside of a mound. How many questions is this?
All right.
I think your questions are done, brother.
No,
How many questions is this?
I got 2 more.
Yeah, he still got 2.
Hold on. He's able to ask a question in the middle of a question? Just want to make sure.
Hold on. So are you talking about his first? I paused the time. So are you talking about his first question?
I'm talking about his question here. He just asked 2 questions here. Did I know this? And do you disagree with it? Those are 2 different questions.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So that does count as an additional.
What is 2 different questions? What are you talking about?
You did it 2 times. I answered the initial question.
I just said I talk for clarity because you obviously when I spoke about the carrot, you didn't know.
If I could have did for clarity during my Q&A because I wanted for clarity.
Can I just get my 2 more questions and we're done? All right. Do you have evidence? Hold on. Do you have evidence of Passover being practiced in ancient Israel before the Babylonian exile?
That has nothing to do with this debate. And I'm not done talking. The evidence is the Bible.
All right. And you know what? You're going to be, if I respond to you, you're going to say that's my 5th question, but you know what? You'd be wrong on that level too. But anyway, did the Hebrews, did the Indians, when Columbus encountered them, did they speak Hebrew?
Well, that's like saying, what has to be understood is that's like saying the English language, the Spanish language, the Portuguese language does not date back to Latin. They all date back to Latin. But through centuries of time, you're going to find that language begins to change. That's how linguistics works. So when you have a modern day Hebrew being spoken to in Europe, and then they're coming to people over here, which I'm not saying all of them were Israelites. It's never been anything in the debate. But when they're coming over here, they still wouldn't be able to understand each other. Completely 2 different places, completely 2 different amalgamations of languages within the Hebrew. That's simple to understand. That's like saying English, Spanish, Portuguese. That doesn't come from Latin.
Or he's not even answering the question, bro.
I did answer the question.
Yeah, I think it's fair for him to answer it the way that he chose to answer it.
No problem. What's the next?
Yeah, but you kind of cut him off, so you can't cut him off. You got to conclude. So are you finished, brother Yawasap?
Yes, I'm finished.
All right, good deal. So that was the final question, correct, brother Garfield?
Yeah,
Correct?
that's the final question. Mm-hmm.
All right, good deal. So that's time on that. Both of you brothers did good on the question and answer round when it came to time management. Shout out to the good brother Yawasap of the Run with Dog Abarium, as well as brother Garfield of the Dagger Squad tonight. Throw in the chat who you feel took it. Now, of course, we got to do a lot of research on a lot of this information that we.
Let me do a poll.
You got to throw in the chat who you feel took it. We got 300 people in the room. Tonight's debate was: is there an is there an Israelite presence in pre-Columbian America? All right, so it's important to support the platform. Hit the cash app, hashtag Ask Brother Garfield. Ask Brother Garfield for financial support. Excellent job, both brothers. You came with slides, you came with the information. It's our job to analyze it. Now we're gonna roll over into the closing remarks. Brother Yawasap, you will be going first on the closing remarks. I got 5 minutes on the time. Now, brother Yawasap, if you can communicate to the people your social media handles, your school, all of the information that you would like to communicate to them, I will not start the time until you finalize that section. Will you be sharing your screen, though?
No, I'm not going to share my screen at all, brother.
All right, good deal. So it's on you. The time will start right after your social media handles.
All right, follow us. Our YouTube channels are Rum and 144th. That's RAM and 144th. Follow us also on Rum University, where we do a lot of historical teachings, a lot of theological teachings on Clubhouse and on Fanbase. Just follow God First Gang. Shout out to the God First Gang. I know what it is. Garfield's part of the God First Gang too. He's really in my camp. A lot of people don't know that. You can start my time now. So, to talk to Garfield, what I really wanted him to deal with, especially, was the first round. The first round, he didn't deal with anything in terms of what the natives wrote down themselves with the Exodus tradition, with the Tower of Babel tradition, with something such as close as Noah's Ark. Extremely close, and I hope he don't go no Epic of Gilgamesh. I hope he don't do that, man. But a lot of the traditions were also over here that you can tell were brought over here orally. He didn't deal with none of that. I already had and knew what Garfield was going to say. He's just going to say everything is fake, everything is made up. Some white Jews come over here, and even though I debunked that, then he accused me of screaming, but he was screaming around before. But that's my good brother. But I thought it was a good debate. I do want to thank Garfield for the opportunity. That is my brother. Shout out to Christian Corey, the best moderator on earth. Shout out to all the generals in Rum for green lighting this. Shout out to all the Akim in Rum. Shout out to Priest Danya Allah, who always helps me with everything historical. Shout out to my twin. You know who you are. Keep sending me beats. But besides that, man, Kwame Yasharala, the victory was not for me. The victory was for Israel. And Garfield, you need to at least read some of your slides next time. Don't just, you just going by it and going, read something, brother. Don't just talk. Read a little bit, But besides that, y'all my brothers, man. Shalom, shalom.
All right, that concludes Brother Yawasap's closing remarks. He forfeits the rest of his time. Make sure y'all are following, liking, subscribing to the Brother Garfield podcast. Brother Garfield, I got the time set at 5 minutes for your closing remarks. If you can, please start with your social media handles, your school, any information that you would like to provide to the audience. And then right when you get into the round or the information, then I will start your 5 minute section.
All right. Social media, Instagram, Brother Garfield Podcast, YouTube, Brother Garfield Podcast, TikTok, Ask Brother Garfield 55, Brother Garfield on Clubhouse, Brother Garfield on Fanbase. All right. Let me see what else. That's about it. All right, let me do this. Hold on 1 second here. Let me see what we got. All right. How long is the closing argument?
5 minutes.
5 minutes. All right. So let me.
You came up with the time. Damn.
Hold on. All right. All right. So let me share my screen. And let's do some basic slides. I don't have to do nothing major. All right. I want to say to the brother, a lot of the stuff that you brought, 99% of it was actually some pseudo information that has been debunked and refuted. I did go through pretty much all the stuff that was claimed in the first round. The 7-day rest, the 7 feasts, the port, the James Adair, Manasseh ben Israel, 10 tribes, Assyrian exile, Cherokee, Chief, River One. Now, you wanted me to address Passover and Exodus. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to address that in a minute, all right? The Newark Holy Stone. I addressed the Bat Creek. I addressed the Dighton Rock, the Brazilian stuff, Las Luna Stones, haplogroup X. So on the screen, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Y chromosome haplogroup, again, for QM242. This actually ends the debate. This proves that there's no connection between QM242 and the people in the Levant. They're not connected at all. He brought up X because he's illiterate when it comes to haplogroups and DNA. He thought he could Google something real quick and then come with a response. Haplogroup X is actually for the females. It has nothing to do with males and Y DNA. So he thought he debunked what I was saying. All right, so let me move to 106. Hold on 1 second here. 106. So this is some of the claims that I actually debunked. The Los Lunas, the Newark Holy Stones, the Bat Creek Stone, the Dighton Rock, the Pittsfield Phylactery, the Kinderhook Plates, the Grave Crook Stone, the Nazario Stones, some Barry Fells work that he brought, and the Brazilian Stones. Hold on 1 second. 150. Yeah, and I also touched on the Issachar, the Mataras, the language, the Star of David, the Cherokee High Holy Days, and all that stuff. One more thing here. 176. All right, so let me do this. So basically, how much time I got left, bro? Let me see if I could scroll through this real fast. How much time I got left? Corey.
My bad. I was trying to hurry up and you got a couple of minutes. I was trying to hurry up and get back to the screen. You still good?
All right. So basically, we know that the Assyrian exile is where the whole argument comes from or stems from. But the Assyrian exile, if we look at the records that's available to us in archaeology and through history, we could find the Israelites actually, most of them joined the army, were members of the army. They went into Egypt on ships, and it's documented throughout history where they were and what they were doing. The same thing with the Judahite stuff. They started the city of Judah and all that stuff. And Benjamin Tudela, this is what I wanted to bring out earlier. He's a 12th century traveler who documents that the people had 40,000 Jews, 10 yeshivas, and 28 synagogues in Persia and in Babylon and in Assyria, where the actual people went. So there was never really a lost tribe to come over here. The debate was over when I said this, but you guys believe you're attached to these 10 tribes, which never left. So we know for a fact that happened. But on the other hand, do we have any evidence being claimed that the Israelites practicing all these things before the Babylonian exile? Which if they left Israel at the Assyrian time period, they couldn't be following Sabbath, 7-day week, Day of Atonement, Passover, unleavened bread, first fruits, Feast of Tabernacles. There's evidence that none of this was practiced, even the dietary laws, until like around 2nd century BC. So ritual impurity, you can't be around a woman with menstruation. So making the claim that they copied this based on the people leaving is ludicrous because they weren't practicing it in the first place. And I yield.
Oh, man. Finally got Brother Garfield of the Dagger Squad versus Brother Yawasap of Ram Gadal Gabarium after about 10 years of Yawasap chasing Brother Garfield and him. I'm just joking. That's my good brother. Make sure y'all following the Brother Garfield podcast. platform, subscribe to the platform. This is a very important space, not only for, anybody who follows the biblical persuasion. He stopped with a little time left. Let me stop that. Following the biblical persuasion, as well as anybody who gets into the information. Shout out to the good brother Garfield for having that. Brother Garfield, can you take over right quick if you got a second? I know you're checking your messages, but if you got a second to communicate to us about what Rodney have going on in terms of the event.
Yeah, and yeah, let me give that a last shout out, and then if people want to jump on, we could jump on for a few minutes. I don't know how long my brother got. I know he ain't really got no life like that, but this was listen, if you go over the information, this was an easy win. Because we talk about it after this, but we get into that.
Right? It was really easy, Garfield. It was really
all right,
easy.
cool. All right, $ count on Rodney. Count on Rodney, and we could get that going on right now. $ count on Rodney. $ count on Rodney.
What is that for? What is that for, Brother Garfield?
That is for a clothing coat drive. It's for a coat drive. It's for a coat drive for the kids in Chicago. All right. I'm going to say it again. It's for a coat drive for the kids in Chicago. Please support my brother, Rodney Henderson. $ count on Rodney. $ count on Rodney. All right. I had more pauses than a curious dude. Shout out to Rodney, man. Definitely shout out to Rodney. Let me post that up there. Shout out to Count on Rodney. I like that. Count on Rodney. Count on me.
No. We don't need that. Make sure y'all following the Brother Garfield podcast. Make sure you subscribe and like to the platform. Now, Brother Garfield, I just heard you mention somebody about bringing people to the stage. That's something that you guys didn't agree on in terms of questions from the audience. So is this something that
we talked about it when you were late for your job today?
No. I wasn't late. I was on time. Everything started on everything. All right. So did you guys agree?
Yeah, I'm good for like 2 or 3 people.
All right. So 2 or 3 people or 2 or 3 questions? Let's be specific now. Because a brother will come to the stage with 17 questions and 3
2 or 3 questions.
All right. So one question a person.
I'm good, man. I ain't got shit to do. I ain't got no life like that. 8:40. All right. So basically, we had a debate about is there an Israelite presence in pre-Columbian America. I really want someone to tell me what did you know what? Let me keep it up. Let me keep it up until they come on. What did Yawasap present that made him prove without a reasonable doubt that there was a pre-Israelite presence?
Hey, Garfield, take the comment off so they can still see Rodney's Cash App, bro.
Hold on. Oh, my bad.
Yeah, take that comment off. Just leave Rodney's Cash App up, but take the comment off.
Yeah. All right. What's up, my brother? Rob, on you up. Rob, on you up.
My favorite fan, you up.
Anybody else?
And I guess we're getting about 3 questions from 3 different people on each side, or what we doing, Brother Garfield?
It don't matter. Let them jump on. Anybody want to come on? Let them jump on.
That makes the most sense.
It's a formal debate. We got to keep it fair. Fair.
Yeah, I agree. 3 different questions from 3 different people. That makes the most sense.
All right, go ahead. Rob, on, you got something to say, brother? Anybody else want to jump on in the meantime? Let me pin the link. Hold on.
Rob Bourne, you're gonna have to unmute.
Yo. Mic check 1 2 1 2.
That's Rob Bourne. That's my good brother.
Yeah, now my name is the name that you see on there today.
I'm looking. I'm trying to see that name. I can't see it. Brother, if you can you pronounce the name so we can repeat it?
Nigga brew killer. You know what it is.
All right, we got the nigga brew killer. Is on the stage. I'm not sure what that means, but we got the nigga brew killer on the stage. You got a question? Who is your question for, nigga brew killer?
I like the way you. So, yeah, good debate, man. I got 2 questions. One for Garfield. How y'all doing this? One Garfield and one for Yawasap.
We're doing.
That'll be fair.
We do 3 questions. Wait, said 3 questions. That's what you said earlier.
Nah, I just asked 1 and 1, and I'm out.
All right, cool. What's up? Good, cause we want to get rid of you anyway. Go ahead, hurry up.
Yeah, I know you want to get rid of me. To Yawasap, when were the Seminoles pre-Columbian tribe? Like, how do you come to that?
I don't understand the question. The Seminole is just a layman term of a variety of tribes that got pushed down into Florida. So you got the Muskegee Nation, you got the Creek Nation, the Choctaws, so on and so forth. Seminole is just a modern day term. And the Seminole people themselves were also amalgamated with people that got brought here from the transatlantic slave trade.
Good question. Good answer.
Thank you.
Well, how are they? You said something about the Seminoles and being Israelites, though.
That's not Brother Garfield. Hold on, wait. This ain't that time. This is
Okay. My bad.
I mean, I just that's why I asked the question. I just wanted to. That part is right. They are. It's a new thing. It means maroon, actually, like runaway, and it's an amalgamation of those different tribes. I don't know about them being Israelites. They never wrote about that, but Garfield, how old is the Q and X haplogroup?
I'm gonna tell you right now. Hold on there. Haplogroup. Group Q. The haplogroup Q group, it possibly date between around 24,000 years ago.
And X is when?
And let me tell you what X is. Hold on, I'm gonna tell you right now. The X haplogroup. The X haplogroups dates to probably around 20,000 years ago, probably a little further back, but arose around haplogroup N roughly 30,000 years ago. But the issue with that is this, right? If anyone is attached to these groups as a root haplogroup to those people, I'm saying that when I brought out the QM242, the debate was actually over because 96% of the people are connected to C and the Q, which is rooted, go all the way back. So when somebody says that the haplogroup, they don't deal with haplogroups, 96% of the people are attached to C, Q, and R. I mean, it was over right there. But
right. But the one you brought up was Q what?
QM242.
When did that mutation occur?
Probably around 17,000 years ago.
Oh, 17,000 years ago. Okay. I just wanted to check out. I ain't got no more questions, man. I'll let the other people have fun.
All right, cool.
Appreciate that, nigga brew killer.
Yeah, you're lucky my phone died earlier, man. I heard that slick stuff you said, but I'll let you live today.
Who we talking about? We talking about
Yawasap. We talking to Yawasap.
He talking to me. Hey, you know you my brother, Robon. You a little crazy, but you my brother.
You see, now I gotta be a little crazy. All right, it's all good.
Ain't gonna count Robon crazy.
Yo,
we got another.
I like that wisdom. Yep, John Wall on the courts. I'm a wizard. Wow, I like that. That's bars. I like that.
Oh, I got one more question, if it's okay. This is really interesting because I was listening to what the brother said. It's similar to what I heard. What's his name? I don't know how to pronounce y'all names, Joe.
We gotta wait.
Oh, I gotta wait. Okay, all right. I'm gonna follow the rules.
Gotta wait, nigga brew killer. We got a show to run. All right. We got other people on the stage that raised their hand. We gotta go in that order, and then if we don't get enough questions, then we might can bring you back up. We got who is the next guest? Is that Israel Young? We got Israel Young on the stage. If you can unmute and communicate to us who your question is for.
I got a few questions for Yawasap.
Now you can only have one question.
Well, whatever, how many question it is, I'm gonna ask it.
All right, so you got one question for Yawasap.
All right, so for Yawasap, you said that the natives used Israelite what you call it artifacts that was speaking Hebrew, correct?
I thought I was unmuted. I'm sorry. They spoke certain dialects of Hebrew. Yes.
Okay, so
That's
which
the question, brother.
You have nothing else to ask.
no,
Yeah.
no, no, I do have to. It's a follow up question.
That was one question. Y'all don't
It was
listen.
a follow up question because everybody's asking 2 or 3 questions. I only get.
Nobody asked 2 or 3 questions.
Yeah.
All right,
And
whatever.
then I got it, brother Yawasap. You don't have to do that.
He's just
So
shouting at
there's
me.
not
Like, come on, bro.
just for clarity, if you can mute your mic. Israel Young, if you can just mute your mic. If you can mute your mic. So you can't say everybody's asking because there was only one person before you. Everybody else is in the audience. And the one person before you asked 2 questions, one to Brother Yawasap and one to Brother Garfield, and then was stopped on his second question. And he respectfully said, okay, no problem. And he stepped down and muted his mic. That's what actually happened. So that's just the facts, and it's on the recording. Please do not frame my moderation or ask Brother Garfield or the Brother Garfield podcast as being unfair. You're unfair because you tried to ask more. Brother Garfield, that was 2 questions for Yawasap, 1 for you. What would you like to do moving forward in terms of trying to even out the questions? We don't have many people that's raising their hands. How would you like to play this out, Brother Garfield and Brother Yawasap? This is something.
You could ask another question. I do want to respond to my brother, Priest Daniela in the chat.
I definitely say Garfield. You know, this.
Hold on. He had asked, wait, how do you
your platform? Can we stick to this first and then you deal with that?
Yeah.
I just want to respond. Can I respond to this?
You can't, Brother Garfield.
Okay.
You got to understand you've relinquished all powers to the moderator. And you are a debater tonight.
Yo, I hate Robo, yo. I hate him.
So you cannot answer that.
All right.
You are a debater tonight, so we're going to stick to the program. Who do we got next that's asking a question? Because this is a section that y'all agreed on, Brother Yawasap and Brother Garfield. I ain't know nothing about this.
Anybody in the chat want to jump on and ask a question, man? Put the link in the chat. Hold on there.
All right, Maccabees TV say put the link in the chat. I don't think Maccabees TV is running from no smoke.
It's actually pinned. But go ahead. Let me bring up D-Red. D-Red got a question. Go ahead, D-Red. What's up, D-Red?
I want to know this question for both guys. What was the process?
D-Red, who is your question for?
What's the process that y'all use? This is for both. This is one question for both guys. What was the process?
Brother, I can't understand you. Can you take your headphones out or something?
All right, hold on.
All right, brother. And what's good, D-Red?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
A little better.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Hey, Brother Garfield, if you could take down the cash out for right now, so the stage can be seen.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah,
we better.
You sound better.
All right. The question is, what was the process used to vet all you guys' sources? This is for both guys. What was the methodology to vet your sources to make sure your sources were credible in the information that was presented?
That's a good question, Brother Garfield. You can go first.
No, I'm gonna let him go first. Let Yawasap go.
He's already 2 questions up though, Brother Garfield. You just 1 question in. That's why I'm asking you to go first.
He's Googling for Priest Daniela.
I'm Googling what? Hold on. No, I gotta deal with this lady coming to my house tomorrow, my cleaning lady. Hold on 1 second.
Straight cat. Good.
All right.
See my cleaning lady. See? Cleaning lady.
All right, so
was my
we'll
computer.
roll over.
I was
We'll roll
responding
over.
to my computer, but I respond from my phone. Tell me
All
what.
right, nope,
Yes.
no problem. So we'll during that time frame, we'll roll over to Brother Yawasap of Ram Gadal Gabarium. D-Red, if you can put the question back on the table. I think it's an excellent question, Brother Yawasap Ram Gadal Gabarium. Let's see if you can answer that. Go ahead, repeat it again, D-Red.
I said, what was the methodology used to vet the sources that the brothers used?
Well, it depends on what the source was. So in terms of like the sources I pulled with the Exodus tradition, you know, I went to the source itself and found out where it came from and realized that it came from the natives themselves, translating it themselves in the language that they were forced to learn underneath their variety of what we would call captivities. In terms of the archaeology, well, I showed you in the second round how I came to the conclusion that the Batcrete stone could not have been a forgery because of the two scratches that was in the later picture, and that when that was compared to the original carvings of the Batcrete stone itself, which will actually prove that it was found in a mound. Now, if you study a lot of these artifacts, I mean, you can't just because somebody says it's debunked, you just go with it. I think that that's a lack of honesty on Garfield's part, and he's just saying it because what he does is the consensus. But at one point, you know, the Hermetic hypothesis was the consensus. A lot of things were the consensus during one point of time. But as you begin to grow and continue to read, and I'm a Bible believer, so in the mouth of two or three witnesses, if I have several things that point to one conclusion, I'm going to say this has to be true. I think it's that simple.
All right, same question rolling over to Brother Garfield.
I would say first of all we gotta follow a methodology, and the methodology has nothing to do with belief. If it has to do with your belief, you're already dealing with the research wrong. And I think what happened with Yawasap, and this is nothing against him personally, but his methodology. You got to gather all the information. So what I did, I basically looked at the pros and the cons, and yes, I'm a consensus guy because we technically are not the ones looking at this information. So you got to go with what the experts are doing and what they're saying, and then draw your own conclusion. So there's a whole process. I would say you got to falsify. Can you falsify your information? What would falsify your information? And you got to go through the steps and see what would make you change your mind, and then ask yourself, was that proven? Hold on one second. Let me just respond to this lady real quick.
And if you can mute your mic, if you can mute your phone, at least.
Why is this beeping though?
Put it on silent.
All right. Yeah. So what I would say is for the consensus, I do think, and I don't think a lot of people that like I said, when people watch a debate like this, you're watching for confirmation bias. Like, you know what? I agree with Yawasap. Nobody in his camp is going to say Garfield won. They're not going to say that. They're looking for information that he has said before to say, yes, he presented this, so I win. So he has won. Nobody's saying, what did Garfield say? Is that true? Why would Garfield say that? And then I'm saying the people who support Garfield should say, why is this guy saying that? But most of the people know that the Bat Creek stone and all these stones, they've been refuted like 1,000 times. There's tons of papers that's showing step by step why they were refuted. In a debate like this, you can't really do it. I just know that the Freemasonry book is where they said it came from, and the guy literally just copied it. And the writing is not old. You see, that's what we got to look at. It's not old. It's new. But if you believe something and you want to gravitate, it goes back to the slides that I showed. This is what I believe. What evidence can you present to let this belief be true? And that's how my brother seems to be researching. And most people that believe, because you want something, it's called confirmation bias. You want something to confirm your belief. So you're quicker to believe it, and it's psychological. You want it to be true. There's nothing that he said tonight, except probably one or two things. I'm like, I probably gotta, but most of the stuff that he presented is stuff that's already been rigorously checked and fact-checked hundreds of times. This is why D-Red put in the chat, this debate is too close for the information Yawasap's presenting, because all this stuff has been refuted already.
All right, we're gonna bounce it back. This will actually be the literal last question. That was 3 questions from to Yawasap, from Nigga Brew Killer, Israel Young Lion, and D-Red. And then that was 2 questions from Nigga Brew Killer and D-Red to Brother Garfield. So this will be the last question for the even 3 that y'all agreed on. We got Priest Daniel Allah of the Lions of Israel on the stage right now. This is a huge thing. He got a question. Priest Daniela, who is your question for?
Both combatants can answer it, although Garfield did want to respond to something I asked in the chat. I don't know if that's going to happen before I ask my question or if it's going to happen at all. So I don't know what you want to do, Corey, as the moderator. Is that going to go?
So the question will have to go to Brother Garfield, and the only way that Brother Yawasap can answer it is if Brother Garfield and Brother Yawasap agrees that he can answer it too.
Okay, cool. So I noticed that when my brother, the Nigga Brew Killer, aka Rob Boyle, that's my guy right there. Shout out to Rob Boyle. Yeah, no doubt. So when he came on the stage, he mentioned about haplogroups Q, etc. And Garfield quickly agreed to it. And then I heard, the fingers tapping on the keyboard. I heard that. That's neither here nor there. Right. So Garfield, my question is going to be A and B, because I won't ask B if you already answered the first question. So do you agree that the Native Americans, some of them are haplogroup Q? Mm-hmm. Do you agree with Rob Bourne's assertion? Is that right?
Yeah, and I was tapping my fingers because I was looking up what he asked me.
Right. Okay, cool. So let me ask you a question. Aside from the haplogroup study of the Native Americans that have classified them as haplogroup Q, amongst other things, what other proof do you have outside of that Native Americans are not Israelites? I'm gonna tell you the reason why I asked that, because prior to the discovery of what is called haplogroups and the science of genetics, when people wanted to find out who people were, they used things like language, customs, pottery, archaeology, artwork, etc. They use a lot of different categories to classify who people were. That's how people identified who people were in the past. So are you telling me that haplogroups now negate language, customs, pottery, archaeology, and artwork? And if you say no, and I'm going to give you the floor, I want you to understand my question really concisely. If you say no, then what I would ask you to show me is outside of your haplogroup study, classifying them as haplogroup Q and others, what other evidence do you have to dispute what Yawasap was showing? Because he showed you language, he showed you custom, he showed you archaeology, he showed you artwork, so forth and so on. You say all of that is not true because of they're in a haplogroup. Okay. So what else do you have to negate what Yawasap showed? That's my question.
I appreciate this is the debate right here. And I want everybody to listen to this answer. What Priest is doing is a fear question based on his belief. And I respect that 100%. Now watch this. Yawasap never provided linguistic evidence. What Yawasap did was he read from our book. What I did is show the audience what's called a cross-comparative linguistic analysis, where what you do to start the process is, what I did was actually very scholarly. What you have to do, family, is find 5 common words that's in every language, whether it's mother, father, son, daughter, or the sun in the sky. And what I did was show it and compared the Cherokee, the Aztecan language, the Algonquin, and others. I showed 5 languages and compared it to Hebrew, and none of them matched on those basic words, showing that they're not related. That's the first piece of evidence, because for it to be related, all those words would have to match one of those languages. So that was evidence number 1. Evidence number 2 was the fact that we know the different language families that they have, and I showed that one is what's called a SVO language and one is a SOV language. That again showed there's no connection. That was 2 daggers right there as far as linguistics. He read something about the Uto-Aztecan language, and I showed that the Uto-Aztecan and Cherokee, it's in my slides, I showed it, that those were subject, object, verb languages, while the Hebrew was a subject, verb, object language. They're not related at all. So those 3 pieces of evidences kill the linguistic argument. As far as what you said about archaeology, I agree with you that the people from Peru, the Carol Supe people from 5,000 years ago, that I showed the structures that predate Egypt. I showed that. I showed the Brazilian stuff. I showed the mummies. The mummies, as far as dating, I think they use thermoluminescence, which is an actual method other than radiocarbon dating. So they use thermoluminescence dating systems. That's what they did for that one. And it's an estimate. It's not a definite, like if it's 9,000 years ago, that's an estimate, but it's around 9,000 or around 8,500. It's an estimate, but that's archaeology. We have the Belizean stuff in Central America, the structures. We have the Olmec structures. We have the Mayan structures. We have different structures of archaeology showing what a culture is doing. That's what we have now. As far as what he showed for linguistics, he showed a book and somebody on a commentary. He didn't actually explain how the languages are related and showed and prove. He didn't do that. In all fairness, he read something that the Uto-Aztecan, I remember clearly because I was prepared for that by Stubbs from the Mormon people did that. But we have to understand this whole premise though. All these are, you see, if I'm a believer, right, and I hear all these archaeological stuff, I'm gravitated towards it. But then you start thinking, why is this happening? Why people are saying it's fake? Because there was the Jewish Indian theory that was going on from the white folks came here. They wanted to push the whole millenarium theology about this is the end of the world. This is the Messianic age. So the Jews and the Christians started jumping around. That's why they started calling England, which is one of the 4 corners. So now that explains how British Israelism rise. That explains all of that now. They thought that was the last corner of the earth. That's a part of the Bible. So you talk about we've been spread to the 4 corners of the earth. England is the 4th corner. So now you see they're trying to build something theologically, and that's why you see so much people popping up. Then let me make one more, give me 30 more seconds. Then when you look at the Newark Holy Stones, what I brought out, I'm sure nobody heard it before. The election of Abraham Lincoln played a role with them trying to say that that was Jewish. The fact they were enslaving African Americans played a role, and Native Americans. They wanted to say that we were all from Adam, and they were teaching what's called monogenesis. So if you teach polygenesis, that means you could enslave them. They're not one of us. But if you teach that we all come from Adam, we're the same people and they shouldn't be enslaved. So all of that played a role into the person making up the Newark Holy Stone. And by the way, the guy that found it admitted before he died that he may have been tricked into a hoax. That's another thing with Wyrick I never said. But I hope I answered your question to the best of my ability, brother.
All right. Appreciate that, Brother Garfield. That will conclude the 3 questions on both sides for Brother Garfield of the Dagger Squad, as well as Brother Yawasap of Ram Gadal Gabarium. I noticed you brought some other people onto the stage. Just for clarity, we're going to fully conclude. If you guys want to have some type of informal build for the rest of the night in this room or another one, then that's cool. But the actual formal debate is complete. So the 3 questions on both sides, it brings it to a completion. Make sure y'all hit that cash app. If you came in tonight, you received some of the edification, as received some of the entertainment as some of you guys came in for. Make sure you hit that cash app and support the platform. This is how we keep platforms continue to go. These are heavyweight debaters that has been able to come on here and demonstrate information in the last several weeks. Hit that cash app you see going across the screen. Hashtag Ask Brother Garfield. Make sure you hit in that hashtag. Make sure you like, subscribe to the platform. I'm Christian Corey, spiritually known as Nadiab Shakab of the Tabernacle of David. Run up the tab by way of God First Gang. Shout out to God First Gang, a camp on fan base, as well as you can go to the platform on Clubhouse. Both brothers did great today. I appreciate the information. I will also myself go back and research both sides to see
Yes, you will.
Wet stands
You know
and wet
you.
falls. You already know I'm gonna do
Hey,
it. You
by the way,
know that.
I'm putting a YouTube link in the chat. I'm gonna do an after show because I see some other people jumped on when they asked questions. And I appreciate, by the way, I'm sorry, you didn't finish. My bad, bro.
No. I was just saying, no, I appreciate for having me, Brother Garfield. Like always, as well as Brother Yawasap agreeing to having me as the moderator on the platform. But I'll yield right there. Appreciate everybody in the room.
Yeah, I think brothers did a good job as well. I don't know if you should end this, Garfield. Even if brothers leave, you already have this many people in here.
No, I'm gonna put a link in the chat right now and start a new show because I just
All
want it to be the debate show, and I want Corey to end it out. I don't want to talk after he talked because he's the official moderator. I didn't want to go after.
I just want to salute you, Garfield. You know what it is, bro. We're gonna do a lot more work in the future. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to the haters. Shout out to the ones that love me. Shout out to the nigga brew.
No, he gotta change that name. Nah, y'all, what's up? You gotta change that name, man. Fuck that. He got Rob Boy gotta change that name, man.
Hold on. Before Rob respond.
Rob, that's my boy right there.
Hold on. I'm gonna end the stream. Look in the chat. The link is in the chat for the other show. Y'all could jump on.